Hello, everybody. Welcome. 𝗪𝗁𝘁 here, joined by two very dapper-looking gentlemen. Here we got 𝗪𝗵𝘁. Here, we found him, guys. He's right there. We discovered the location of the Speedwing at long last. And we also got the firearm bro. He's right here. Hey, Axel, how you doing?
I'm good.
So, why are we here? I guess that's a question that a lot of people are asking. Why are we here? Well, you know, my favorite part about draft racing with you two is when we just talk shit and don't play. And I was like, why don't we just take the draft race out of it and just get together and talk about Fire Emblem for a couple hours? You know, it's I figured it could be enjoyable. So the idea here, we got some agendas. We're going to talk a little bit about the next Fire Emblem, and all throughout the stream, I can do stuff like this. I can highlight your comments, and we can like talk to you and stuff like that. So the agenda that we have today is we're going to be talking about what we want for the next Fire Emblem, and then we're going to talk about Speedwing's favorite topic. What if?
Yeah. 𝗪𝗵𝘁 confirmed. Reliable source. We can show our reliable sources.
What if it's real? And then we're going to go talk about what do we not want? What do we not want from Fire Emblem? And then for the final segment, for the final segment, it's going to be a free-for-all. You guys can pretty much decide the topic. So yeah, I'm excited to yap with you guys. I was thinking we could start this with something, because apparently people are saying there's no leaks. There's no leaks about the next Fire Emblem. But that's actually not true, guys, because earlier on FEG, someone posted this highly reliable leak right here, guys. Can't you see?
I'm convinced.
Yeah.
Look at the quality. So good. Peak.
Look at this. Someone posted
You can see they've added 𝗁 back into the game. That's why those two characters are the same.
They absolutely have. Back. Yeah, no, I am. So I think the idea here is that we're finally gonna get AI Emblem. I think that's the idea.
It's wild because you said this was posted where?
FEG, 4chan, like the Fire Emblem subsection of 4chan.
Because look at how the little individual characters are. Right? Like it looks like it's so strange.
I love
it. Yeah, that's my favorite bit. It's 𝗁. He's back.
I love the 𝗪𝗵𝘁. The 𝗪𝗵𝘁 is guys. If this is not credible source, I don't know what is.
Look at how the ring is. It's not even circular. Like it's bended there on the left side. Both of them aren't identical. Like the two circles are different from each other.
And look at their faces. Yeah.
Here are the main characters.
Seems legit to me.
Here are the three.
They can't even do eyes. Look, there's no left eye. They can't draw left eyes. Perspective, impossible in the new Fire Emblem, guys. Like, forget about it. The director that they hired for art was like, I am really good at drawing people with eye patches. Like, that is...
Exactly.
Yeah, I bet you're missing Engage's art style now. This is the new art style.
Exactly. But, ladies and gentlemen, obviously, these are fake leaks. I think we can all agree with that. However, ladies and gentlemen, I have heard from a reliable source that there is actually a new Fire Emblem game coming. And rumors has it that there's actually a trailer on YouTube. And I, with some investigative workings, I have been able to dig up this trailer, ladies and gentlemen. And it is actually quite spectacular, guys. Let's have a little bit of a look, shall we? Let's see. Oh my god. Wait. Oh, now it won't start. So we have
the Nintendo's trying to keep you from the truth. You're not allowed to.
They really are. Oh, here we go. Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is actually a leak from the next Fire Emblem game.
Reliable source, as always.
Introducing the latest
I don't think you guys can hear
Fire
it,
Emblem series.
Oh, I don't need
Fire
to.
Emblem
I can see the
Three Houses. Harvest of Fodlan. Prepare yourself for some Edel gardening. Grow yourself some 𝗪𝗵𝘁, and make sure that you can harvest every last one of them. Following feedback on the last game, we've heard you, and we are now removing all the tedious maps that get in the way of the good content, such as fishing, farming, and finding out which character with depression is the one that you can self-relate to.
This is amazing.
After
I can't
all,
wait, you guys. This looks so
characters having
good.
a bad relationship with their parents is what makes the game
What the
good
people
or not.
wanted.
It's probably
This
the
game
best
will be
iteration
releasing
Fire Emblem
with a
could ever
very
be, is
exciting
this.
and interesting microtransaction shop.
Can't believe they
Buy
got a
new skins
British
for your
guy to voice
characters.
the voice
Maybe
the
you want to
trailer.
drink a
Right?
lemonade at
Finally,
tea
some
time instead.
representation.
Don't worry, we've got you covered. Fire Emblem Free Houses, Harvest of Fodlan, coming to mobile devices
I love it.
very soon.
Can't wait,
everything
guys.
about it.
Can't wait,
Everything about
guys. This is
Heard it here
peak.
first.
This is peak, guys. So can't wait for Harvest of Fodlan. Now I would like to ask you something, Speedwing. I was wondering, this is, most people have probably heard about this, but I think there's a good chance that some may have not. So as we know, 𝗪𝗲 videos are popping up everywhere. And I feel somewhat guilty about this because I was definitely part of the crowd. But Speedwing, can you explain to the audience, why do you think there's all these 𝗪𝗲 videos, and what do you think happened to Sparkin, and why do you think this supposed 𝗪𝗲 remake probably isn't real? Just for those who are not aware.
It's following the herd. It's because one person does it, then the next person does it, and the next person does it. We have had 𝗪𝗲 leaks and rumors for years now, years and years and years. And even these videos that are coming out in the last few weeks use the same evidence as the ones from 3 or 4 years ago. I watch them all because I would love to have someone actually present some kind of screenshot, proof, video, anything, and they never do. They never do.
But can you
So,
repeat what you said in your video? Like, what do you think actually happened to spark these leaks? Because you had a very good theory. You had a very good theory.
Right. Yes. Okay. So the reason why people say that these leaks are real is because there was a leaker for Engage who leaked screenshots, and alongside those screenshots, they talked a bit about Engage, and then they said, "Oh, an 𝗪𝗲 is happening as well." That's the big evidence that people have.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that what most likely happened was that he saw Sigurd, or he saw Sigurd's paralogue, and thought, "Oh, well, I know that's 𝗪𝗲.
Yeah.
𝗪𝗲 is happening." Because during those leaks, he doesn't talk anything about emblems, doesn't show any emblems. We only saw characters, just like playable characters. So it's very possible that the leaker didn't even know that that was the gimmick of Engage or anything about it. So you would, if you saw Sigurd, you would probably just think, "Oh, cool,
Yeah,
𝗪𝗲."
Yeah,
and that is the reliable source that the 20,000 videos use. That guy saying 𝗪𝗲 is happening too, by the way. That's it.
Yeah. What do you think, Axel? You think Speedwing's right?
I think he's right on the money. I think that's exactly what happened. I think people saw. I think the leaker did predict correctly that there was going to be a game. Like, as we saw, he did. 𝗵𝘁 was the thing.
Yeah.
But he didn't know. He couldn't have known what Sigurd was because he didn't know about the emblems. Like, if I'm seeing that too as a leaker, I'll be like, "Oh man, maybe they're gonna do a cool Fire Emblem with cool, right? With 𝗵𝘁, and they're gonna do an 𝗪𝗲 remake." So I kind of see where he's coming from.
Yeah.
However, I will say this: it's been 5 years of us predicting the 𝗪𝗲 remake, and it's like. What's that saying? Even a broken clock's gonna be right twice a day.
Yeah.
At some point, somebody's gonna get it right. But maybe I'll be 75 years old when the 𝗪𝗲 remake comes out. I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be this time around. I do say this, and this I say with 100% confidence. All of these YouTubers that say, "Oh, 𝗪𝗲 is coming out, 𝗪𝗲," and that, I think 70% of them have not even played 𝗪𝗲.
Yeah.
Or at least, I'm gonna start with that. I'm gonna start with that right there. I'm just gonna open with that. The second thing I'm gonna say is that if they did play it, they probably didn't even get to Gen 2. Like that's what I'm gonna say too.
Yes.
Because the truth
Gatekeep, brother. Gatekeep.
I'm not gonna gatekeep. I'm gonna call it as it is. These people that say, "Oh, 𝗪𝗲, I've played it," and they haven't played the game. Like they don't.
They
know
never
what they
talk
want.
about any of the mechanics or anything. They're just like, "Oh, it's so great. It's the best writing in Fire Emblem." It's like, what part?
Exactly what? The forest love or
they summon Sigurd and Deidre in Heroes. I think that's about it. And they may have seen a Let's Play or a couple of episodes of the Let's Play, I think. But yeah, I mean, this is the thing, right? I love 𝗪𝗲. I just don't like playing it.
The arena, please. I don't want to have to do the arena again. Don't make me do the arena again.
Anyway, guys, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves because that's next on the agenda. We are gonna. The next segment is going to be what if the 𝗵𝗄 remake is real. We'll get to talk about that plenty later. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to open with this because some people may not have seen Speedwing's video. It's a really good one. I'll link it in the video description. And that was actually the video that kind of made me go like, oh my god.
I convinced you. Well,
it did, because when you said the leaker just saw 𝗪𝗁 and was like, yeah, I was like, that's exactly it. That's exactly what happened. I didn't even think about that before because I didn't play Engage, so I didn't put 2 and 2 together that much. And now everyone's here with their uncles at Nintendo and their reliable sources, and they're all saying the 𝗵𝗄 remake is coming. I think we're gonna get those people who are expecting the 𝗵𝗄 remake. I think are gonna be very, very disappointed.
I think if we are getting a remake, it probably is 𝗵𝗄. I will say that much.
Yeah, I agree. 𝗵𝗄 is the most likely one. I also think Axum's webcam froze. He looks he just fell asleep.
the mention of 𝗵𝗄 put him to sleep. Many such cases.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, no, I do actually, I agree. If we get a remake, it's probably 𝗵𝗄, but I just don't think we're gonna get a remake. So to explain why we're doing this video tonight. On Wednesday, I think it is, 2nd of April, there's going to be the Switch 2 Direct. It's a very, very hyped Direct. They're going to release a bunch of trailers for the brand new Switch 2. And I think it's like a 50-50 chance we might see something Fire Emblem related. At least maybe like a teaser trailer, probably.
Maybe.
I think so too. I think
Mario and Zelda and Metroid and all that are going to take front and center.
Probably.
Of course, they usually do. But if I'm showcasing my IP right on a new system, I'm gonna want to get all the big names out there. And Fire Emblem's a big.
Is Fire Emblem on the same level? That's the question.
I don't know if it's on the same, but it's one of their better properties if you think about it. Because like, how many characters are in Smash? Like by Smash adjacency alone, you get value. Like, right? Yeah, but I guarantee you here, nobody would play Earthbound if they didn't know who Ness was. And like, I know who Ness is because of Smash.
True,
like,
true.
You've upset some diehard fans there.
All right, Earthbound fans
there are dozens of them, and they are all shaking their fists now.
True.
Earthbound is great, but nobody... When was the last Earthbound game? When I was 6? Like, come on. How would you know?
But that's why I'm saying, like, I'm not saying we're going to get the full 2-minute trailer, the emblems are to blame or whatnot, and, like, the release date. I'm just saying maybe, like, a short teaser trailer or something like that. There's a chance. I think there's a good chance. And if not, there's a chance we're going to get something in the months leading or afterwards, I think. I don't think they're going to wait, like, a year to release a Fire Emblem game. I think it's going to... Like, statistically, timeline-wise, if you look at every other release, we are due for a trailer. We're actually 2 months overdue, statistically, for a trailer. So I think we're going to see something. And that's kind of why we're getting together and talking about this now, because I just think it's fun to yap a little bit. And there's a lot of opinions.
It'd be great to predict it.
Yeah.
It'd be wonderful if something we said actually is what happened.
I was actually thinking at the end of this or later on that episode we could make a little bingo together and see if we can do some predictions.
Yeah.
So because this is the first topic right now. And guys, if you have questions, if you want to interject, I'm going to be highlighting comments all towards the evening. So if you guys if you write like a well-mannered comment, I might put it on screen. I might read it out. So if you guys want to join the conversation, this is very much a conversation. So please chime in with your opinions. And if they're good, I may also put them up if they're not good. We'll see.
Shame.
So the last travel says Fates 2, not a terrible idea.
Please. Oh my goodness. I would love that. Yes.
Yeah, so why don't we start? I want to start by asking you, Speedwing.
Yeah.
What do you want? Like, what would make you the most happy on Wednesday if you saw Fire Emblem? What would make Speedwing go from sad Brit to happy Brit?
I mean, it sounds really stupid, but I just want it to be fun. I just want a fun game. Something that I will obsess about, a bit like I did with Engage. I know lots of people didn't, but I did personally. I want a game that I'm going to sink a few hundred hours in minimum. When the sort of game that when you finish it, you're already thinking about what you're going to do on the next playthrough.
Yeah.
What units are you going to use this time? Oh, maybe there was a route split or something. I want to see what happens on the other side. I want that. I want a game that sticks, not like a one and done experience, which could also be happening. So who knows? But in terms of like story, I'm really not a big story guy. But I will say one thing that I really like is 0 to Hero. Sort of 𝗪𝗪𝘁 idea of band of mercenaries that fall into a greater plot. I don't want another god, another prince or princess that's destined for greatness from chapter 1. I want to start off whacking bandits with sticks, recruiting a random thief, and then that thief in the final chapter is fighting literal god. That's what I want.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Is that a 𝗪𝗪𝘁 reference, Speedway?
It is. Something that I will say about 𝗪𝗪𝘁 is I think it has one of the best kind of, trying to think of the word, atmospheres, maybe, in terms of
100%
how the plot goes.
Yeah,
I
definitely well developed. It definitely has
Path
good
of Radiance
pacing.
used to be what I would say was my favorite game.
Yeah,
back when I was younger.
You heard it here first, guys. 𝗪𝗪𝘁 remake confirmed. I heard it from Speedwing, and he is a credible source. AKA.
He correctly predicted the farms of Foldland, right?
He
Exactly.
sure did.
If that gets announced, I am going to be smug for about 5 years.
That they might announce some kind of mini Fire Emblem game on mobile that's like more, like less oriented towards combat. I mean, we talked about this during our draft race, that it was Speedwing who said that a mobile game focused on non-combat activities set in the monastery of Foldland would sell like hotcakes.
People would love that.
It would sell, like, go gardening with 𝗲𝗪, go drink tea with 𝗪𝗵𝘁, go swimming with Mercedes. Like, it would, like, if they had released that during the heyday of Tree Houses, it would have earned more than Heroes. I am convinced of it.
Yeah.
Like Tamagotchi, but with Foldland characters. It would be lit. It's like, keep your plot alive. Feed him carrots or whatever.
Exactly.
They've got AI stuff now where they could even have them talk to you. Like, a sort of, like, AI, you know, companion. Those are going absolutely insane. So do that with Fire Emblem characters.
Lizard Wizard says parasocial emblem. That's
yeah.
They would be like, everybody would want to marry like Bernadetta or something, and then like really showcase how messed up they are in their heads, and you know, and how we need to get outside and touch some grass. That'd be nice, guys. Just saying.
Now, before I ask Axum what he wants, I'm just going to read these 2 donations right here from Alfred Bonanza, donated $5. Happy belated birthday, Mangs. Thank you. I'm old now.
Old.
Connor 𝗪𝗪𝘁 donated 50 Canadian bucks. First and last time I bet money on you being late. You actually bet money on me being late. Is that something you guys do? Where are you scheduling these bets? Like, I can get in on it. We can get rich together, dude. You pay me half of what
insider trading.
Yeah, you just go insider trading. It's fine. So anyway, Axum, Fire Emblem, what would make you the most happy? Like, what's your dream trailer?
For reals, I want a return. Like, this is gonna sound weird. No, people don't know this about me, but I actually think that the best Fire Emblem game made is Three Houses. For a plethora of reasons.
Oh wow, I see a grin on Speedwing's face here. That's
he doesn't agree with me.
I'm going to be respectful of your opinion.
The reason why I think it's the best game made is not because in particular because of the combat or all this. I think the combat's great. I think the addition of gambits was something that was very cool. I want the new Fire Emblem to have, and they've been doing this, so I kind of agree. I want the new Fire Emblem to have a new kind of combat gimmick, and they've done this in every single one, starting from like Fates, basically. Like, you know, we had the whole pair up, and then we had combat arts, and now we have combat arts and gambits, and now we have emblems which have kind of similar like the special abilities are kind of like gambits if you think about it. Like, you know, it's like a special attack that you do from whatever. So every time we do a new Fire Emblem, there's a new kind of like
you're right about that
mechanic added, and I like that. I think we should do a new one. Maybe a transformation one should come back. Maybe some Castlevania kind of vampire transformation would be nice. Something like that. Something that would have a value like that. I think the reason why I think Three Houses is the best. Like, if I had to say which one is the best made, it's probably that because of the value that you get for the game. Right? You pay $60. You have a 4-route game. Granted, a lot of maps are recycled or whatever.
3.5.
Yeah, like, is there any map that isn't reused in Three Houses?
No, a lot of the maps are actually not reused. The ones that are reused are the paralog ones. Like, you're going to see paralogs that have a lot of the main story ones. But the main story ones are kind of Some of them are reused, obviously, Gronder Field, like things like that.
I think
But
every
for the
single map in the game is reused. At
Yeah,
least once,
no, I
right?
think so,
swear
yeah.
I've seen that
The
written
first
before.
half, yes, but the second
No, the
half,
second half as well. I'm pretty sure I've seen that before. But
I don't
sometimes they're
think-
from different angles or like a different side of it.
Cool.
there are definitely paralogs that overlap, but I'm not entirely sure if their entire like even the conditions will change. Like for example, the one that you have to the assault on Embar. There are two different positions that you start. Like 𝗪𝗵𝘁 starts in one place, but like Silver Snow starts in a different position, which is fine. Like they're still the same map. I get where you're coming
Yeah,
from.
you could make a new map by
I
just
understand.
by changing the starting position. I just want to say here, 𝗪𝗪𝘁 says, I really want to see mountable horses in 𝗪𝗪𝘁. No one tell this guy about Fire Emblem 3.
Yeah, it's the mounting isn't fun. I don't like mounting dismount personally.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
I still think that if you have Three Houses is valuable because you have that different, like, you know, I can play with one group of people, then I play with the other group of people, then I play with the other, and you can easily sink 60 hours into the game just by playing the 4 routes. Like, if
Yeah.
you wanted to see everything. Now, are you going to have a great experience because of the monastery? No. So I want the monastery to go away. Like, I want that monastery mechanic to slow down. We need to, like, leave the simulator Emblem friendship to the mobile simulator friendship that's coming out. And keep the game focused more on strategy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I can agree with
And-
you there.
And I don't want an avatar. Or if we do an avatar, I want an avatar, unironically, like 𝗪𝗁. Because 𝗪𝗁 was the best avatar that was written
Whoa.
in Fire Emblem so
Whoa.
far. Straight up.
Whoa.
I'm gonna say it.
Excellent,
Whoa,
my
whoa,
man.
whoa, whoa, whoa.
I respect your
Mark?
opinion, my friend.
Robin?
Robin is the second best, but 𝗪𝗁 is better.
I love Mark because I
Pretty
forget
good,
he
isn't it?
exists.
I never had an issue with Robin.
Robin is the second best. Well, being the
Outside
second
of
best
all
out
the
of,
like
eight.
bear stuff and all
Wow.
that. Oh, I walked in on you taking a bath. Actually, maybe Robin isn't that great. The more I think of it,
I like Robin.
Robin is like the second best. I like him too because his story, but he still suffers from the whole like I'm God, just the bad guy, like, my version complex of it. You don't know this until the end, but then they kind of shoehorn it in there. By the way, you are like God, but just the evil one. Like you just didn't know. Like, you know, it's
I'd like to show you guys a little chart that I made earlier. Just to show. I know sales doesn't equate quality.
sales numbers, my behavior.
But I just want to show, because I want to show just how popular Three Houses was. I'm not saying sales means a good game. We know marketing is like a big part of it, but in case people just want to see just how massive Three Houses was compared to the, like in terms of pure sales, I do believe 100% that this was due to the Switch being hot at the time. I think console
Yeah, it
lifespan
was fresh.
affects sales so much. But this is also why I think that this next potential upcoming Fire Emblem game is going to be so massive, because it's a brand new console. We don't see this a lot. This is a big time. This is why I'm so excited. I think this title will be, it has the potential to be Awakening 2.0, Three Houses 2.0, and
Potentially.
I'm super excited for it. So that's why they have to get this one right. It's very important that they do. And that's also why I think wasting it on a remake,
yeah, exactly my thoughts
100%.
as well.
look,
It would be
waste.
it would be so stupid. Like they must have realized that Engage, they put zero marketing budget into Engage.
Yeah.
Literally none. We got one trailer and that was basically it. They did nothing. They couldn't have tried less with Engage.
It's-
And they must have got feedback from that we need to actually do what we did with Three Houses.
Yeah.
Three Houses, they had all the voice actors coming on panels. They did 𝗪𝗁𝘁. They had multiple trailers. They had I Left put into Smash. I know that was a bit later,
Yeah.
but like there was so much for Three Houses, so much, nothing for Engage. This next game has to have a massive marketing campaign.
Yeah.
Best case scenario, new Smash Brothers, that the main character or whatever is in that. from
that
the
would be
start.
huge. Yeah, like launch roster, Super
Yeah.
Smash Brother
Launch
character.
roster,
That would be
Fire
crazy. I don't think it would happen, but if it did, that would be absolutely insane.
They did it before. They've done it multiple times before.
Mhm.
Roy was in
Martha
Smash
Roy,
Brothers
yeah.
Melee before Binding Blade came out in Japan.
That's true. Roy
Yeah.
was put in there as an advertisement, basically.
So let me just get this off my chest, chat. I'm the biggest FE4 fanboy in this room right now. I think I'm sitting here with two guys who are very critical of FE4, and I don't
I
want
don't
people
hate
to
it
think.
as much as Axum.
Yeah, I think
hate it.
Axum's the biggest FE4 hater. Here's the thing, though. I love FE4. I love it to death. I love the story. I love the characters. I don't want the FE4 remake to be the headline Switch 2 game. I'd rather that come later. That could be like a side launch later down the line. I think this slot right here is worth its weight in gold. This slot right here, if this does well, we're gonna see like another renaissance, another golden age of Fire Emblem. They cannot waste that on a remake of, let's be honest, a game that's not that popular. It's just not. I know people think 𝗪𝗺 is like this, like, oh, everyone loves it. Most people in the fandom haven't even played it.
Yeah. it's a game that super fans love and talk about, but that's such a tiny fraction of a percent of the total market for Fire Emblem games. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
How
like
small
Pulp Fiction.
𝗪𝗺 is in the grand scheme of things.
Like Fight Club. Some people really like it, and some people are like, it's okay. You know, it's like the people that really like it really like it. They're like, it's the best thing ever. It's like, bro, it's okay.
It's because it is. Fight Club's awesome.
This is what I'm talking about.
It's a good movie. It's a good movie. It's a really good movie. But yeah, like that's the thing. I love 𝗪𝗺, but I'm not gonna sit here and try to convince everyone else that it's the greatest game. Like I can make fun of Fire Emblem 4 probably more than Axum can. Like it's a game that's very easy to dunk on. And in fact, ladies and gentlemen, we're actually going to go into that next, because we're going to spend about 30 minutes on each topic here, and maybe more on the last one, depending on how long we want to go. But right now, we're going to talk about what if. What if it's real? What if it's real?
The cope can begin.
Yes. So we're just gonna pretend that the 𝗪𝗺 remake is real, that it was a reliable source, that the uncle from Nintendo was right. We sit there on Wednesday, boom, Shadows of 𝗄𝗪, Sigurd's sword on his horse, dun 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 dun. I don't even know how to begin this. Like, what? How can they salvage an 𝗪𝗺 remake? Axum.
They'd have to change everything. Oh, sorry.
No, Speedwing, you go. You take the initiative.
No, I dived in there, Axum. Go, you go first.
Okay.
They have to change everything. Because he's right. They have to change everything. They have to change the pacing of the game. Okay, let me start by saying that if they do an 𝗪𝗺's idea behind it, I 100% agree. Right? I think that Shadows of 𝗪𝗺 was actually very well done. People hate on it a little bit, saying that it's a little too faithful to the original, and I agree to some extent. But I do think they did nice additions of like combat arts and different styles that came in, and the art style is fantastic. The direction of the voice action is fantastic. Shadows of 𝗪𝗺 is maybe it's not a game that's too replayable, but it's definitely a masterpiece to play. Like it feels very cool to play the first time. Like you feel like you're in the story, like you're in it. Like you're involved. And I think this is possible with something like Echoes of 𝗄𝗪 or 𝗄𝗪. That's how we pronounce it.
𝗄𝗪.
Really cool. I think it'd be great. But they have to change a lot. I actually put a video out a while back about how I think the solution to this problem is actually to kind of merge 𝗪𝗺 and 𝗪5. Now, granted, they're two completely different games. They have completely different mechanics. But the guy that gets paid at Nintendo to figure this out gets paid more than I do to think about it. So he should actually figure out a way to merge these two, try to keep somewhat a semblance of an idea of an entity around it, and try to actually make it so that you can have two games that kind of go between two generations and you focus on three characters. So somebody like Lewin would have to be more present. So say we thought about Sigurd, Eldigan, and Lewin as like the first generation of characters, or Quan or something like that, one of those three. And then the second generation you focus on like Leaf's struggle, Selef's struggle, and Сед's struggle, because those characters are kind of like the children that I think lead the liberation, right, in both of them, and the parents as well. They could do something that works like that. Like, I think it can work. The lovers of the thing will be like, no, it's a horrible idea because like 𝗪𝗺 is perfect, and that's all the comments I get all the time. And it's like, bro, get with the times. 𝗪𝗺 and 𝗪5 were launched like so long ago. Things have evolved. The games have evolved. People need to learn how to evolve. If you want your game to be better, you have to make changes. You have to make changes up with the time. 𝗪𝗺 comes out tomorrow, like
Wednesday.
Too faithful. It's gonna be trash. Nobody's gonna want to play it. I'm gonna be real. Nobody's gonna want to walk on a horse for 20 maps. Like nobody's gonna want to do it. It sucks. It's not a fun experience.
Yeah,
it has to be something engaging.
Yeah, and Echoes, Fire Emblem Echoes, Shadows of 𝗪𝗺 was so faithful, right? It was so faithful. But Speedwing, what about you? Do you think they should change it? Do you agree with Axum, or do you think middle ground?
I think what Axum said about adding 𝗪𝗺 into it is a terrible, terrible, terrible idea, because the games play so dramatically differently that you'd have to change both of them to make them mesh together. And then there's so many inconsistencies in FE5 compared to FE4 in terms of story. So then you'd have to gut a bunch of that as well. And just, I really, if they did do something like that, it would be horrible, honestly. Like, I think that would be really, really bad. But yeah, I basically agree with the rest of what you said. They're going to have to change so much. Like, the gameplay is incredibly outdated. But then with Echoes, they sort of managed to make it work. Although then Echoes' weakest part is the gameplay. Yeah. You know, it's the most beautiful game in the series, but it's a horrible game to actually just play, I find.
I played it once. I played it once and never again. I know you streamed it, 𝗪𝗁, but like aside from that stream, like how many times have you guys completed Echoes? Twice? Yes, one more than me. Yeah. I did one run and then one failed Iron Man. It is not a game you want to play a lot. At all.
No. And that's what I said at the start of the stream, is I want a game that when I'm finishing it, I'm instantly wanting to play it again and try something different, but Echoes just does not have that. And FE4 Remake would be, well, I guess child units, but it would be similar. I think it would be similar, because FE4 is a slog. Yeah. There's a lot of yapping. There's a lot of waiting around. There's a lot of grinding out the arena so you have enough gold to get the weapons all sorted out. There's so much like tedious, busy work in FE4, which if they remade it, they would have to streamline it somehow. I'm not sure how, but they would have to streamline it somehow.
A better UI would go a long way towards fixing. Better UI, faster animations, the ability to skip enemy faces and stuff like that would go a long way towards fixing FE4 gameplay. I feel like with Echoes, that was a nice addition. It made what was once the most tedious game in the series in Gaiden actually playable with minimal changes, which I think is impressive. But let's say they actually do the FE4 remake. I'm curious, guys. Child hunts and incest?
No. They have been censoring the games since Awakening for the most minor things. They're going to have to censor half of FE4's plot. I mean, I don't see Treehouse letting it get through. I don't.
I mean, you say that, but then they do stuff like everybody dies in the Engage Xenologue. Like, you know, I don't know what the line is.
Yeah, but they just say like, oh, they're zombies. You know, like
no, but they're
I'm not talking about the actual game. I'm talking about the version we'll get. The Japanese version will probably still have that in it, and then Treehouse will slaughter it.
But Three Houses has like
the children are just being picked up to go to a farm somewhere.
Three Houses has like parental abuse, mentions of suicide, like even sexual innuendos a bunch of times. So I don't know what the legend, where are they willing to cut the line?
I agree with you, 𝗪𝗁. There are some dark themes in Three Houses, but they're usually hidden like a little bit behind supports, and they're alluded to rather than shown. In Fire Emblem 4, you can literally watch children die on the Overland map if you don't rescue them. I think that's the only Fire Emblem game where you can see, and that's not true actually. Sacred Stones.
Sacred Stones. The spider stream.
Sacred Stones can have a little girl eaten by spiders, so I guess
we were doing Thracia Iron Man, and somebody was like, I think the kids are gonna get meteored if you don't kill that guy, and then lo and behold, I killed him, but he was gonna meteor the children.
That's right, you do rescue children in one of them. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I'm just wrong then, I guess. Wow. Okay, so yeah, but here's the thing, like, I guess you could like kind of push it a little bit to the side, you know, like the whole, like, you can kind of allude to the fact that Arvis and Deidre are like brother sister, and you could, like,
I think that's so crucial to the plot. The whole point is that they're like, that's the whole that's everything. Like, they can't just dance around that. They can't just be like, oh, just by chance they both happen to have Loptus's whatever, you know, magic juice in them.
Well, Azura and Corrin are cousins, like, and you know, we can marry her.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, Azura, and I do it every time. An oversight, I think, because the rest of the siblings is
cousin marriage is a lot lighter than brother-sister marriage, I think, personally.
And they have a letter to prove that they're not siblings anyway.
Oh yes,
it fixes everything.
The incest note, my favorite part of Fates. Absolutely. You don't know the incest?
What do you mean? There's a letter.
So if you try and marry one of your siblings, in their support, they will refer to the fact that the mother gave them a letter saying we're not actually siblings. The only person that doesn't have this is Azura, and I feel like that was an oversight. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Every royal
yeah.
walks with this letter inside their pocket, can be ready to hand out
Yeah.
in case Corin wants to bang
Just in
them.
case Corin comes onto them, they've kept that letter on them for that very special day to happen.
I can't
All of
believe
them.
Axel didn't know this. I can't believe Axel didn't know this.
It's Schrodinger's. It's because I've never married anybody but Azura. I've always wanted to marry my cousin. Apparently, like I don't know what the logic is there, but it's just. So, and I always play the male version, so I don't, it's not like I'm marrying Xander. But this is wild. I did not know about this.
Wow.
Letter. That is insane.
Oh, it's
I'm always marrying.
How did you?
Azura. Like, sorry.
How did you go so long without knowing this? This is like one of the most controversial things about Fates.
I thought they would just. I thought you would be like, you know what? We're cousins, but we're smashing or whatever. Like, because Azura, they did it with her. I was like, they're gonna be bold. They're gonna say okay, but apparently
But this is
no.
what I'm talking about with Treehouse, because that's not in the Japanese version. That's just for us.
In the Japanese version, they just go.
Japanese version, they don't have letters, as far as I'm aware.
Wow.
So they
So
just
they
marry
added
Love you,
this.
brother.
They
Yeah.
added this.
Wow.
Because
As far as I'm aware, I could be wrong. I could be spreading misinformation, but I'm pretty sure that's the case.
Wow,
On
the
the- on the
Japanese
topic of-
truly are wild.
on the topic of Treehouse, can we get someone else to localize the next Fire Emblem game, please?
Yes, please.
Does
They
anyone
butchered
here-
Engage.
Does anyone here like Treehouse? Can anyone in chat? Is there anyone who actually likes them? Because I feel like every single game they're just torn to shreds by the fandom and every change that they do. Like, let's just completely change this character for no reason.
Yeah.
Well, okay. For as much as they do wrong, there is one thing they did right. Like, I don't know if they were involved in this, but Radiant's Dawn localization about the Black Knight surviving the fight was absolute trash in the Japanese original. Like, it was just,
Really?
it was
The
just-
warp powder?
the warp powder, soul, BS, whatever. That was such copium that I was like, bro, what? Like, what are we doing? This whole version of like, no, I just let you in is way better. Like, way better than, oh, I couldn't transport my whole body, so it was just my soul you were fighting, but in physical form. But then
Yeah.
I got tired and my soul lost,
I
and that's why you're here. It's like, bro, why couldn't he just have been like, I let you in, and then I warped out?
You see,
That's exactly
before
what
we
I did.
fought, I just snorted the longest line of warp powder.
Yeah,
And
it's
I
a
just
spirit dust.
wasn't quite myself, you know? Like, I was kind of
that change was good.
I was kind of tripping balls when we fought. I wasn't really paying attention, but now I'm sober, finally. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that change. But I do agree, things like making 𝗄𝗄𝘁 not say you should kill yourself is like beyond the limits.
Yeah.
Let her be a complete scumbag.
1984.
Oh wow, he has the book. That's funny. Yeah, no,
Like a true Brit.
I think that they took potentially one of the more interesting characters in Engage in 𝗄𝗄𝘁 and completely ruined her. I mean, I still think she's an interesting character, but I think a character like 𝗄𝗄𝘁, if you actually read her original supports, she's very interesting because we've never had a character like that. In fact, she's a pure narcissist. It's actually very interesting.
She's great.
She's
really good.
She tells you to go kill yourself. Like that's really dark.
She tells 𝗄𝗄𝘁 to kill herself as well. She's like, why don't you just go die?
and I feel like the version
Wild.
we got had traces of that, but it's like they tried to normalize it by also making her normal. So it's like she's
I
just
think they just forgot to take some of it out because
yeah.
she still says it, but on really weird, like small occasions and stuff, you know. But any
Yeah.
like actual supports or dialogue have been completely stripped.
Yeah. Everyone's saying narcissist women needs showcasing too, says 𝗄𝗄𝘁. Yeah. No, it's
Not
weird.
wrong.
And I'm guessing because Treehouses is just or Treehouse, not Treehouses. Treehouse is the localizers they just go to now by default. I think they've localized every game since Awakening.
Fates, they butchered Fates.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
did.
there is so much in Fates that they just completely tore to shreds.
Okay, but do you think do you actually think that that's the reason why Fates was so bad dialogue wise, or was it because the original
No, but I think it doesn't help. Same with Engage. I don't think Treehouse is the reason Engage's story is so hated by everyone, but I think it definitely counts. When Engage was in Japan, they actually, a lot of them liked it. And I heard that a lot of Japanese people were confused as to why Westerners hated it quite so much. And they found out that it was these translations, and they were very mad about that.
Wow, yeah. I sometimes wonder if I kind of want to learn Japanese just so I can go and experience the games in their full, and see are they really as bad as people say?
The thing is, some localization is fine. Like, for example, not marrying Anna or whatever, great, get rid of that. But they overstep themselves. Localization was meant to originally be like a cultural thing. If they had like a Japanese word that we don't have,
Yeah.
then you find a way to make it make sense. But a lot of it now is,
Like-
hey, my political opinion is going to do this.
For example, aging aging Lynn up from 15 to 18, completely fine.
Yeah, that's completely fine.
Sure.
Yeah, that's fine. You know, like I think that's harmless. It's completely fine. We have different kind of age of consent compared to Japan, so just age up the characters a little bit.
Yeah,
That I have
perfect.
no problems with this. It doesn't affect
That's
the
a
story.
cultural difference.
It's
you
a
know,
cultural
so
difference, yeah, and that's
works.
something they should do. But yeah, no, I think they get bolder with each release.
It's
True.
ridiculous how bad it's gotten, actually. Like, when you look at some of the stuff that's changed in some of the later games, there's no reason for it to change other. Like, they got rid of 𝗪𝗪𝘁 being concerned that she was putting on weight.
Yeah,
And I'm sorry if this sounds harsh, but when I read that, I just get a vision of a localizer in my head who is maybe perhaps a little overweight themselves.
And here's the thing. They changed it to I had an unpleasant expression on my face. What? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Oh my
Like
god.
what you did? Oh, now I can never be in public again. Like that doesn't make any sense. Like at least in the original support, she was like, "I'm fat now. I can't show myself publicly. I gotta find a way to work out before I go out." But if you just have a grimace, I think you just don't have the grimace. It doesn't make any sense. Like couldn't they have
Just,
changed
like,
it at least to
not-
like maybe like her hair got cut or something? I don't know. Something that would make more sense than what we got. It's stupid.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I really, really hope that something changes. And I also hope, while we're on that they get rid of the writer that they keep bringing back. 'Cause it's the combination of the same writer and then the same localizer butchering the bad writing. Like, please, can we break the cycle? I beg.
Yeah.
That's why I think that, like, I don't know. I feel like we need to go in a new direction with this whole. I think a return to that grittiness, like that medieval fantasy style, is what really is needed in this series. Like, we need that return to the medieval. Like, done are the VTuber clowns. Like, I'm over it. Let's go back to like Shadows of Valencia kind of style, like medieval fantasy, like war, things like that.
Yeah.
Vampires.
Tom, I want to get back to that later. Tom Skiller says Shadows of Valencia overall had a fine localization, but they had some changes and made one character nastier. I think that cut off a little bit. But did Echoes have a different localization than the rest of the games? Do you guys know?
No idea.
I
But I
don't
could
actually
imagine that it would, because the guy that was in charge of Echoes was so, zoned
He was
in
a
on
guide
it being
purist.
exactly what he wanted it to be. Yeah.
Yeah, for
Do
sure.
you know what the change was? What character it was?
They
Just
added a
like,
bunch of characters. They race swapped
No.
a bunch of characters. Like Faye's not in.
But he said that
so-
they changed one of the characters. Right?
They
That's what it was?
turned 𝗪𝗵𝘁 into like a goth mommy.
I feel like that's an okay.
Oh,
change.
it's in the
Like, whatever.
localization, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
I
need
have
a
no
goth mommy now and then. Like, it's
Oh
okay.
yeah, no, that was
Whatever.
sorry. That was not the localization. That was just the game. But yeah, so but yeah, no,
Like-
I heard people are in chat are saying that like Echoes had a different localization, but I don't know if that's true. Wasn't it Treehouse?
I know that Treehouse was definitely Fates and Engage. I don't know.
Louis Baba used to be a man. Wow.
I could definitely see the lead director of Echoes just putting his foot down and saying, "No, it has to be this way, how I want
Yeah.
it for sure."
Yeah. Every says. I love these names, man. Says hello. I think FE4 remake like Gaiden Echoes with cinematic chapter, but Fire Emblem Heroes making continue a lot of money before the next Switch FE. Our intelligence system has a lot of new stories and Chara. Great comment.
Insightful.
So I think what he's trying to
bots
say
are
is,
out, guys.
I think
No, I'm
what he's-
kidding.
I think what he's trying to say is that like a beautiful FE4 game with like good cinematics and Echoes art style would be a smash hit. Look, this Fire Emblem game that comes out now, it's going to sell well. I just think it's going to sell a little less well if it's a remake. I still think it's going to sell well. I just think we got to hit on all cylinders here. We got to like, do everything. They should do everything they can to ensure this is going to be the smash hit. FE4 remake isn't going to dampen the hype a little bit, I do think, compared to like a brand new game, basically.
I think it should write the coattails of it. I don't think it should be the main. It should be like the side dish. Like,
Yeah.
it shouldn't be the main service.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like maybe launch it within the 2 years or something. The novelty's kind of wearing out of the new system, and we have an FE4 remake that would be so cool to tie that with like some Switch stuff or some Hero stuff or anything like that.
because
or FE4 Warriors. Just saying.
I have seen that. Yeah, I have
Let me
seen
just say
that.
that.
It feels weird though, because Warriors games like Warriors game are mostly spin-offs of already popular games. Making a Warrior spin-off of FE4 seems so backwards and weird.
Yeah, but it'd be really funny.
It would be.
That's the most important part. It'd be
Which
very
game
funny.
has the best potential to be a Warriors game than FE4, where the legendary
Awakening
weapons
or
and like
probably
the blood? Not even, dude. Like, think about the legendary weapons. They're always like, oh, the 𝗪𝗁, like cuts down armies and the souls of the gods or whatever. Like, you just put some super cracked Lewin in there with 𝗲𝘁, and you just have tornadoes spammed all over the map. Like, that's the dream.
Yeah,
that's the FE4 purest wet dream right there. You actually take the gameplay experience that sucks and makes it into a cool, I'm slaughtering
but all 10
everybody.
of them, like, what is that
All
audience?
10 of them?
You know, like, what audience is that?
Lovers.
You know, like, they want a game that millions of people are going to buy. Like, FE4 Warriors appeals to, like, yeah, literally about 10 people.
All 10
much.
FE4 lovers.
Oh
All 10
yeah,
FE4
for sure.
lovers.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's not even that. It's FE4 lovers probably wouldn't want to play it because it's
And
a Warriors
5 of
game,
them
so
is
you gotta
me buying
narrow
5
it down
copies.
even.
Pogma says, let's be honest, people who haven't played FE for the first time don't give a F about gameplay. Just look at Three Houses. It sold well and the gameplay was boring. This is true. Three Houses is so popular. Like, even on Twitter/X today, it's still probably the game with the most fan art and fan fiction and stuff like that. I get the feeling most Three Houses fans, they play it once and then they just post 𝗪𝗁 online.
Yeah, 100%. They definitely do. Like, that's all they do. And
it's
then
because
people can take them into consideration when it's talking about what we should do with the next games and all that. It's like, no, please.
Yeah.
But the reason why, you guys know why this worked, right? Why it was so efficient. It's because you had characters that were relatable, and that you could literally see them grow throughout a saga, and like your amount of specification that you put into the character created a connection. So you had characters that are relatable, growth going on between you and the character, and the actual experience of it that you see translated into the gameplay. It's an automatic hit. Like, no matter, they could have done it with, like, it's a hit no matter how you look at it, because you're in a Harry Potter kind of scenario style, which people already love, and then you go on and add it to the tactical aspect. Like, it's genius. That I think it's a genius move.
No,
it's not, but it's a genius move.
I don't want to be in a school having tea time.
So
no, we should just be in a Gladiator Ludus. That would be it right there. That would be the peak.
So 𝗪𝗁, do you think Three Houses, if we had swapped that to a more classic Fire Emblem title, more akin to maybe Fates, do you think it would have sold more poorly than Three Houses did?
Yes.
You think so?
I absolutely think it would. I think the pivot was, like, listen, this is not because I think it's the best game. I'm just saying, if I am a developer at Nintendo and I'm trying to make money, this is the choice to make. That is the right choice.
We could
push
get
the
Three
game.
Houses too, for sure.
Exactly. Like, you push the game in a which, by the way, I don't know why they didn't do that yet, because there's a lot of unexplored stuff with, like, 𝗪𝗏, and you could just go and do, like, you could make a Fire Emblem based on 𝗪𝗏, like the first 𝗲𝗏𝗄𝗏 Emperor or whatever. Just make a story about Flayn, all of Flayn's relatives, like Saint Indek, all those people. Make a story about those guys. Like, why not? Nemesis, like, have Nemesis in there. Tell
the mole people. We can find out their deep lore.
You'll sell so much off of that. You'll ride the coattails of that all the way to, like, $1 billion in Fire Emblem Heroes easily. Because
I mean, financially, it would make sense to do Three Houses
want
too.
That. They want that. They want to be able to correlate. They want to see themselves in the game. And there are too many Bernadettas in the world. And that is why. Like, that's the truth.
I mean, 𝗪𝗁 is one of the more popular characters in Engage.
Why? Why is 𝗪𝗁 popular? Because he appeals to the demographic that doesn't have a voice.
He's cringe.
And that's why he's cringe as fuck. Like, I think
just like me. He's just like me.
Just like me, for real.
I think 𝗪𝗁 is the worst written character in the history of Fire Emblem. Nobody should try to be like 𝗪𝗁. Yet there are people that are actively trying, and as long as that happens, it sells, right? So that's the truth. That's the truth. Like, it sells, and from perspective of a person that's trying to sell games, that's what I do. I'm gonna return to that formula.
I think what I'm kind of worried about, because I agree a lot with what you say about Three Houses. It was a smash hit and it did a lot of smart things, but I also think Three Houses, if we don't think about Engage for a moment, I think Three Houses also alienated a large player base, because Yeah, like because you have the Puritans, the Fire Emblem classic players who are like they just want Sword Axe lands, Brigand, Myrmidon, right? They just want the classic Fire Emblem. And say what you will about Awakening. Awakening was a very controversial entry when it came out, but Awakening felt more like classic FE than Treehouses. Felt
Massively,
like classic.
yeah. It's not even close. Yeah.
So would it maybe not be better to have like a classic FE that kind of does a lot of fan service in the way that Awakening did, instead of going down this like it's Fire Emblem, but we're in a cafe.
Yeah, but didn't Engage do that? And we kind of all agree that the story kind of sucked. So like,
Engage?
I don't. The story was peak. I do not agree with that at all.
Speedwing, 5 minutes timeout. It was bad opinions.
I mean, in no other Fire Emblem game were you the Fire Emblem, so I gotta give him on that. Like, that is the peak. You can't get better at Fire Emblem than you being it. Like that's the best thing you could ever do.
Grimace has a sleepening, yeah. Well, I think the thing about Engage though is Engage was a lot more akin to classic FE. It just had really wacky designs, unlike anything we've ever seen. Very colorful.
It was a game designed for old fans of the series, but most of them were put off by how it looked, which is such a shame.
And I mean, understandably so, in my opinion, because Fire Emblem has had... I mean, Treehouses was very different, because it was school uniforms. I mean, that's not something we've seen in FE before. There was Armor Knights and all that good stuff, and Pegasus Knights in the trailer and all that, but I think Treehouses is actually more different from Fire Emblem than Engage was, in many ways, in terms of, like, pure art style. You don't agree, Axum?
It's not even close.
I'm thinking about the logic that you're saying. Like, I get where you're coming from, but I think that when you look at the second generation design, like when they get older, it returns back to the classical mode. Like, right? I think when you go back to whatever when they age up, it's like, oh yeah, this is definitely Fire Emblem. Like the first part was us getting to know these guys, and the second half was like, yeah, they're Fire Emblem characters for sure. Yeah. Whereas Engage felt like I'm looking at JoJo Bizarre Adventures right now. Like, it just felt like I'm not. This is supposed to be Fire Emblem, but there is a clown on my screen, and I don't understand.
There is a clown.
There is a clown.
I prefer the clown to a literal school child. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, but the school child
I hate the free houses.
The clown
we're
is the
school
clown
children. Where do we go, teacher? I despise that. I really don't like that.
Slight tangent here, but like Three Houses shows school children killing people, which is like wild.
Yeah.
If we think about like the dynamics of limitations of what they'll do, the kids do kill people.
Have you guys seen
bring it up in the first chapter?
Have you guys seen the Pro CD video where he's like playing Treehouses? Like, I love killing people so much.
yeah.
Killing is fun as long as it's the bad guys. I killed someone. It's like, this is kind of weird. Such a good skit, man. I love that one.
It's so true. Like Annette. I'm sorry, Annette lovers, but she looks about 8. And I can never get over it. I cannot get over it.
True. And also, like, Treehouses kind of just glossed over the fact that you're literally dating your students. I don't care if they're not longer your students.
It's grooming. You groom your students.
It's
the definition of grooming.
Like,
it's pretty messed
you
up.
make them have feelings for you, and then you wait until they're a little older, and then you harvest. It's awful.
One of the first
100%.
supports... One of the first supports I unlocked was Dorothea, and I remember being like kind of aghast by the fact that she was like, well, I'm kind of into you, teacher, but let's wait until I graduate. I'm like,
yeah,
what?
It's messed up. That's why I always marry Manuela, because I just know she's down. She's down to go from the start. She makes it very clear. She's always like, I just woke up with a different guy. I'm like, that's it. That's what I want right there. No commitment, nothing, just straight up. No gray area. You can just marry Manuela and be okay.
Can we just get rid of romance with an avatar, please? That I really would love to have that gone.
Well, that segment's greatly into the next section.
Yeah, I was about to say.
What do we not want?
Oh, I've got a long list.
What do we not want?
Me too.
Okay.
Me too.
Well, Speedwing, let's start off with you. What is your biggest fear come Wednesday? What would make you spit your tea out of your mouth if you saw gotcha elements?
The thing that people said that Engage had for sure with the bond ring thing, actual gacha that you pay currency for.
Yeah,
I think that this is the
loot
Switch
crates.
2,
Loot crates.
Like loot crates, anything like that. I mean, Nintendo have to understand that games like Genshin Impact, Wuthering Waves, Xenosaga Zero make more money in 1 month than their games make in their entire lifespan. I think it's not off the table, especially with how they made like $1 billion in Heroes.
Yeah, you sent me something earlier, or you posted something in our group chat, Speedwing.
Okay.
Let me post it. This is Speedwing's greatest nightmare right here. In case you guys want to see just how profitable Fire Emblem Heroes is right now. This is a graph showing just how much it makes compared to other titans in the series. Look at this. That's crazy, man.
1 billion.
1 billion.
That's an old graph as well. So
yeah, that's not
just
the most current information even, but look how it like towers over these other titans. That's crazy, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's the best-selling Fire Emblem game of all time. Straight up.
How do you even quantify a sale? It's like a download on the App Store? Because it's free, right?
Just buying currency.
Just buy stuff.
You buy the orbs to spin your rolls, and swimwear Farja, better get out the old credit card. You know.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned, Speedwing, that you wouldn't be surprised if the next Fire Emblem, let's not, maybe not like loot crates, but that it might have some Fire Emblem Heroes elements to it.
It could do, yeah.
And let's like remember how like Emblem Veronica like summoned heroes in a game. Was that maybe them like testing the waters for like an in-game gotcha mechanic?
I don't know about that. I think they said let's have a heroes rep. Well, the heroes rep should do pulls. I don't think that was testing it at all.
No, maybe not.
I really don't.
I agree. I think that was just like we have exactly what we said. We have a heroes rep. Let's do what the game does, and you can see it too because it doesn't really impact the gameplay that much. Like sometimes you get Dimitri and you have whatever, but then sometimes you get like Bow Knight 3-star bronze and he's like dying. It doesn't matter. Like,
yeah,
it's not
true.
You're not gonna win the game because of that.
But yeah, I agree. I agree with Speedwing on like gotcha elements in our Fire Emblem. Like any kind of system where you pay money, maybe via an expansion or some kind of thing. I mean, we already have DLC, which gives you power in a way, but it's a one-time buy, and you can choose not to get it.
Some of them are insane power, yeah.
It's crazy, and that's don't get me started on DLC, man. That's something that's been really bothering me as of late. Just after playing Engage without DLC, it's like 2 different games.
Yeah, it is. It's not even remotely the same.
Yep.
But because of the way the game forces the DLC on you, if you bought it, which most fans would, because they're like, oh, I'm going to get all the DLC, and then when I'm done with my playthrough, I'll check out the DLC. No, they put it on the map that makes it look like it's part of the game.
Yeah. So
I agree.
So Axum, come Wednesday, what's your biggest nightmare? Like, what would make you like scream at the clouds if we saw? Like,
I mean, I'm gonna be real. If an FE4 remake pops up, I'm just turning the stream off. Like, I'm not watching it anymore. I'm just gonna be like, well, that's it. This is where my Fire Emblem career ends. I'm over it. I'm done. I'll still play the goddamn game just to see how much it sucks. But like that is the end of it. Like for me, I am just over it. I'm done. But for real, what would actually make me be I don't want to do this anymore is if I see that the tone of the gameplay has not matured. Like if we're still hanging on to like this kind of fan serve, like if we're going further away from medieval fantasy, that's going to be a huge turnoff for me.
Yeah.
Like I think the aspect of the game is what really I'm drawn to it because I think like, bro, it's swords in a fantasy world that's medieval, but it's Japanese style. Like kind of like I think 𝗵𝘁 embodies this the best because it was the first introduction. It was like Japanese style drawings, but it felt Western and medieval. Yeah. And I think that is really where Fire Emblem is at its strongest. It has to feel like that. It could even have guns or whatever. Like, it's fine. But it has to be something that I can relate to in a medieval world. Like, it has to be like powder or something. You know, don't just bust out assault rifles here. Like, you know, I'm going to be like, yo, wait a minute. Like assault rifles and Fire Emblem? Like, what? It doesn't make sense. And I think that the last entry deviated a little bit too much from it. And that's something that I don't want to see. I want to see
but
more
you think
medieval.
Three Houses didn't?
But Three Houses at least have
Three Houses, there's
elements.
like robots that you fight and stuff. What are you talking about, Axel?
The
Yeah,
golems
the
are not
big golems. Okay, golems.
Imagine
sorry.
putting golems in your game. Yuck.
Yeah, I know,
Just-
exactly,
just
exactly.
I actually don't think the golems are that bad because it's like at least to some within
A race
the
of
medieval
mole
fantasy
people
setting,
that live under the ground with their advanced technology go and take
nuclear
over.
weapons, by the way.
What are you
Yeah.
talking about, Axon?
But it doesn't bother me because it's in a medieval setting. Like, okay, those guys stand out, but the whole dragons, the whole armies that they have, those are like the monastery itself is very medieval. Like everything there kind of
Sure.
follows that medieval fantasy trend. But like, what an Engage follows that. And I'm not saying this to hate on Engage. 'cause
What
I like
Engage
Engage a lot.
doesn't, other than the fact the characters in the thumbnail dress a little funky. Some of them are wearing like hoodies and stuff.
But like, what's
Other
really
than that, what's
medieval about it?
not?
Well, I'm actually going to take it a step further and say that I think Fire Emblem has been in a bit of an identity crisis for a while now. Because if you think classic Fire Emblem, I highlighted a message on screen a little earlier that said Magic Sword and Dragon, which that is... There's a lot of generic fantasy out there, but I think Fire Emblem has a very strong niche. It's a very iconic... It's like, I think Armor Knight, Pegasus Knight, weapon triangle, armor, rapier.
Wally Dragon.
Fire Emblem has a strong core identity, and I think they started deviating away from this as early as Fates, in my opinion, when they brought in like Samurai, which is fine. I mean, I loved Fates, but it was a deviation away from Fire Emblem by turning it like Japanese, ironically enough. And then of course we had Tree Houses, which was Hogwarts Emblem, and then Engage, which was VTuber Emblem. So I feel like Fire Emblem has actually been in a bit of an identity crisis for a while now. It's like they don't just want to go back to good basics. And you know why I think they don't want to do that? Because Shadow Dragon sold like ass.
It was Shadow Dragon all along.
Yeah.
That's
Damn
why
Shadow
Shadow Dragon 2, releasing on the 2nd, will
That
fix
would make
everything.
me scream. If they remake another freaking Arcanine
Yeah,
again,
how,
I am
how
gonna
about you, Mangs? Yeah,
Oh.
what's your most?
Shadow Dragon 2 would make me very... but no. Obviously, Rev 2 is like the big easy one for me, but I'm gonna say, yeah, oh wow, yeah, I act offended, Speedwing. Yeah, that's great acting right
Between
there.
acts, Rev 2 would be one of the best case scenarios.
This is so bad.
Say book 3, oh
Come-
my goodness.
I think we all agree we don't want something again. Like we want something new.
Yeah, something new,
Like,
something
right?
new,
We want something
100%.
I just want a cast of gorgeous characters, both male and female, and I want good-looking armor. I think if we see like more ugly armor designs, that's gonna make me very sad. And also the one thing that I just want gone from Fire Emblem, which is avatar worship.
Yep.
I don't think we've seen the last of it, but I don't want, like, if the trailer is like, you are the divine chosen.
You are the chosen one.
You are the chosen
You have
one.
all the holy bloods combined.
Yeah, like that's FE4 remake, but you are Shadow Lord with every single major holy blood. That would make me scream at the clouds. That would make me
I
scream.
mean, I can see it already. Shadow Lord slashing the meteor from Valhalla in half and saving the army single-handedly.
Saving
Just like
His S-supported wife, Ishtar.
yeah.
yeah. Oh no, as supported wife Sigurd. Okay, calm down, sir. You do not get to assume who I'm gonna marry in my game. Okay, in my FE4 remake.
You know
I
what?
will marry Sigurd. I will father anybody. Okay, at any time. That's just. I think it'd be great.
There are many
who
things
doesn't
that
love
would make me angry. Marrying Ishtar would not be one of them. I'd be okay with that. But that's the furthest I'm willing to stretch the story. One thing that would make me mad would be if they did like a 𝗪𝗵𝘁 remake, FE6, FE7, and they put Mark in the game and allowed you to marry all the characters, including Louis. that would piss me off if they met and like they put Lyn into FE6.
Back off, Elliewood. Ninian's mine.
Yeah. And like instead of Diane in FE6, like Lyn rides in on her mount and it's like, "Hello,
Oh, they
I
would
am the leader.
100%
I am the leader
put
of the
Lyn.
resistance forces." And they just erase Diane from the game because no one cares about him. That would make me
They
pretty
would
mad.
do that. Yeah, they would. Do
They
that.
I
would.
100% see that.
They
yeah,
would
I see it.
so do that. They would so do
Yeah,
that.
100%. Diane would be relegated to like an advisor or something. He'd be like the Jagan of the Sacaeans. Like that's what he would be. They
Yeah.
would just put him as like this advisory role, and they'd have Lyn be like the new leader of the tribe. I guarantee it. Imagine too, like the empowerment of women. Oh, dude, it's 100% winning. Like,
Oh, yeah.
there's no losing there. Like it's the sell ticket.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, I agree with you guys on the Avatar. I think the Avatar sucks. Like I think the idea of having an Avatar in a new Fire Emblem game is not good.
Yeah.
I think it's been the weakest point of almost every single entry in the series. barring like 𝗪𝗁. Like really, only 𝗪𝗁
What?
works.
Alear's
in my
not
opinion.
bad.
I
People will
didn't
say
play-
this and say I'm coping. Alear's not bad. It's how people interact with Alear that sucks.
I don't-
I'm not, but I agree, Speed. I just think that like the problem with I'm just gonna quickly. I know I'm harping on the 𝗪𝗁 point, but the reason why is because when you look at 𝗪𝗁, like he's just some random mercenary that happens to stumble upon that person, and the impacts that he has on that person's army aren't the reason they win. They're like, it helps in a direct, like it helps, and his character is. They make fun of his character all the time. People basically tell him to just shut up all the time. Like this isn't something that is. There's no worship around the guy. Like the guy is basically just some random mercenary that we hired. Yes, he grows to like. Yeah, he's like, somebody just says 𝗪𝗁 is like POR Ike, and it does feel a lot like that. It feels like 𝗪𝗁 and Ike is probably the best iteration of like a lord that I think in the series with Speedwing sets too.
Agreed.
It's a
Agreed.
character
Ike is
from zero
great.
to
Ike is
zero.
fantastic.
He's not really there. Like, yeah, he fights for his friends. He's got like all the tropes, but he's not really the reason that they succeed. Like, yes, he is because
I mean,
he's
at the end, he is.
Yeah,
but,
in
like,
the end, he
they
turns
can't do
into
it
a
without
god,
it. He
but-
becomes
Yeah,
like
he's
a
bad.
godlike being.
Fair
But yeah, I know. But yeah,
but like in
I
the
think-
beginning, it's not him. It's like the political situation that
Yeah.
he's in that drives him to
journey.
do that. And then he has, and even at multiple times, he's like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be the general. I don't
Yeah.
want to be involved. And they keep putting him in that position. He's like, I guess I'm gonna have to carry here. It's like me and Marvel Rivals, right? I just gotta carry. That's all I gotta do. So then, so that's exactly what he does. I think that that's good. I think that that's what we should go to. A character
Yeah.
that has that type of. I want a main character like that. I don't want me in the game. Like, I like me a lot, but I don't think I should fit in the game. Like, I don't think that that's a part of, like, that's not what I'm here for. I don't want to be my Bernadetta in the game. Like, I just want to play a game with different characters. Like, that's it. That's it.
Yeah, 𝗪𝗁 made a really good comment here, saying Avatar in a remake would be miserable. Avatar in the new game would be fine, but just have them be decent, not the center of attention. I have to wonder if we do get like a brand new title, I think they may want to try and do an Avatar well. I don't know how self-aware they are over there at Fire Emblem Creation Station. Like, I don't know if they
Engage
how
is full of self-parody.
I guess so, but it's like I don't know how hooked in they are to the fandom, and if they know that Avatar worship is something that annoys us. Because with Engage, they just turned it up
Well,
to
in
100.
Japan, they love it, though. Japan, they absolutely adore avatars, and that's
Yeah.
why the games all have avatars. The Japanese love the concept of an avatar. You look at any kinds of Japanese popularity polls, it's nearly always the avatars right at the top.
Yeah,
They love
but
it.
but I think it would be nice if we're gonna see the Avatar. It'd be cool if we could actually get them customizable again, like Corrin
Yes,
was.
yeah.
Like, and I'm not just saying like hairstyle, face style, but like
Yeah, like Chris.
I know my wife.
Bald with a
She's
monocle.
like I would love an Avatar if I could like make her super pretty and like give her accessories and earrings and dresses. Like if she could like really dress up a character.
The Sims.
The Sims.
I was
She
going to
wants- she
say,
wants-
Foldland Simulator right around the corner.
She
We
wants
got
to
it
play
right
The
there.
Sims. She wants to play The Sims and Fire Emblem, and I think that would be a draw. I don't like it, but I think it would be a draw for a lot of people to create their perfect Fire Emblem character, and maybe just have them shut up.
But the main problem with an avatar is that then the whole game kind of has to revolve around
Yeah.
them, and you can't do paired endings because everyone has to be open in case the avatar decides to take them.
Yeah.
And it just, I hate it.
I
And then
wouldn't phrase
they
it like
also,
that,
you have
but
to
okay.
write it that male and female works either way. I don't know. I don't like the avatar. I do not like the avatar. I hate
This
it.
is a good point from Starkiller right here. Cutscenes would be miserable with custom
That'd be
avatars.
peak.
No.
You are the
We did it
Fire
for
Emblem.
Fates.
and
We did it for Fates. You
turns
just
around.
like grayed out their face the entire time, like in the
Yeah.
nice cutscenes, like him transformed to a dragon. You never see Corrin's face.
Dude, I just
So it's
wanna.
like-
I would love to see like. Can you imagine the little 𝗪𝗏 death scene? Like when she's in your arms and you have like sunglasses and cat ears.
Yeah,
and a
yeah,
maid
like a big
outfit.
sombrero on your head or something. Yeah.
It's like that. It's like that. I just laughed my ass off. Like there's this scene in Fates where Mikoto, the mother of Corrin, is like dying, and if Corrin's a cavalier, you have these like pants that show off her butt.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
she like
you wear like
she
a thong.
kneels down in front of her dying mother with her butt straight into the camera, with sad music is playing. And I just died. I was like, oh my god, this is so stupid.
It reminds me of like, have you ever seen that? You guys ever played Resident Evil before?
Yeah.
Long time ago.
Resident Evil 5, there's a scene that like there's a funny video on YouTube. This guy is like talking about how he's with 𝗪𝗂 or whatever, and he's like, this 𝗪𝗂 looks a little different. Like, did you mod the game? And then it cuts over to Chris and he's Master Chief, and he's like, no. Master Chief with the assault rifle. It's so funny. And I agree. I think that if we start allowing customizable avatars to take over like that in scenes, you're just gonna see things like that. Like, it's gonna completely.
But then you
take
don't have
away...
a serious vibe, and not having a serious
Exactly.
vibe was the main problem people had with Engage. So people don't want that.
But so here's the thing, though. You could allow customizable avatars, but you take out all the silly accessories. I mean, you like.
Then what's the point?
I guess
I want
so.
a big pink afro. If you're gonna do it, go all the way. Don't half-ass it. I'd
I
rather just
suppose.
have it.
Here's a very interesting question, though. We got a donation from Bane, daughter of Chaos, donated $1.99, asking, "Next game is going to be made with AI." So AI is a controversial topic, but I'd like to ask you guys. I'll shoot this one over to you, Spinwing, since we made that funny AI video a little while ago with the AI jokes. Do you think we're going to see any kind of AI technology implemented in a future Fire Emblem game? And if so, how could that be done without pissing people off, you think?
I've seen some very interesting stuff with Skyrim, where they've got NPCs that talk to you back using some kind of ChatGPT or whatever. You could have supports in Fire Emblem sort of work a similar way with NPCs. This is pretty far-flung.
I don't think it's going to happen now.
You
but
could
maybe
have it where you actually just talk to them into the microphone and they'll talk back in character.
Mhm.
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, AI technically has been in Fire Emblem forever. That's the enemy turn. That's
True.
the AI moving. So I think we're just going to see perhaps improvements on that. They could have an enemy AI that adapts to your playstyle. That would be so funny. Like if it determines that you're a player that turtles and sits there, it starts like flooding you with really nasty chasing reinforcements. Or if you're a player that's, going very, very fast, maybe it, traps you or does something to stop that.
If it notices that you hoard and you love getting every treasure, it sends thieves out to get treasure chests.
Yeah, like a roguelite sort of style Fire Emblem. I've been playing this game called Astral Throne, which is like a sort of roguelite Fire Emblem in itself.
Is that the game you wanted me to play?
No, but you should play Astral Throne.
Oh, okay.
And maybe I'll swap it to that, because that's very good. I think a roguelite Fire Emblem with that sort of AI element of determining how you play and presenting you with potential things would be amazing. But I think that's a very long way off.
Yeah, 𝗪𝗵𝘁 says if it takes AI to not reuse the same map 10 times each, go for it. It's just funny though, like I have a program on my PC that's like from 2017, and it like AI generates Fire Emblem maps with pretty good accuracy. I mean,
I was just gonna say that. Like, how cool would it be if the game interpreted and was like, you know what, for this next map, I'm actually gonna generate something that I know that their army's gonna struggle with and knows how to identify this and is able to create something like that. That would be peak. That would be,
the Lunatic Plus, but actually good. It plays against you.
I know this segment is like what we don't want, but I will just say, like, I would love some features, some second wind options, some in-game randomization, some things you can toggle, like the little, for example, in Halo, there's like skulls, I think, that you can toggle changes the playthrough. Fire Emblem has not, to my knowledge, done that at all. There's no like random options to like modify your gameplay, which I think would be huge for a replayable game. That's kind of why I made the challenge modes of Rebellion Saga, because I wanted to, add something different. Although they're not random per se, it would be really cool to see like an in-game randomizer.
Even in Iron Man mode, I think.
Yeah.
I think
an Iron Man mode that gives you something, even if it's just like a different menu or whatever. That would be so cool.
Look,
like the Sothis from Yellow thing that they did for 3 Houses.
All I want is an achievement for not using the turn wheel. It doesn't have to do anything. Just a little trophy, that says, "Congratulations, you didn't use the rewind button. Good job. You're a good boy.
You are not a casual."
Yeah, exactly. I don't require much. Just give me that. I'm happy.
I fully agree.
Important. Do you guys want the turn wheel in the next game or no?
Ooh, boy.
Yes.
Speaking of things we don't want. Oh, man, I'm torn on the turn wheel, actually.
Not Free House's turn wheel. Free House's turn wheel, they designed the game around it. Engage turn wheel was perfectly fine, because there's no jump scares. There's no same turn reinforcements.
Yeah, but...
I think turn wheel, going back to some of the older games without a turn wheel, is frustrating. When you spend like 40 minutes on a map and then you just lose for whatever reason, 1% crit or something, it feels awful to have to play it again now. It feels really bad.
But don't you think 10 uses is a bit too much in Engage?
but I think it should just be infinite, honestly, unironically.
Well, wait
Yeah.
a minute. I don't know if I.
But then maybe imagining mode that doesn't have it at all.
I think that I think 10 uses is it's weird because there are some maps that 10 uses.
Yeah, but
are
what's
fine,
the punishment?
and
Oh, you
other
just
maps
have
that's
go
like,
back
no.
and do the map again. Like,
Yeah, but if you needed 10 turn wheels to complete a map, perhaps it's the strategy you're using that sucks. Like, you know, then you
yeah,
start,
but then
realizing
why
that.
should you then have to spend 40 minutes getting back to where you were?
Because
I just think there should be an Iron Man mode with no turn wheel, or like imagining mode with no turn wheel, and then there's just infinite turn wheel for people doing their casual story mode playthroughs. That
I gotta
for
say-
some reason
Yeah,
so many people seem to
that's,
enjoy.
That's valid.
You know?
I have to say,
I just
we-
think that no, sorry, go ahead.
We added casual mode like all the way back in Awakening, but I feel like it's almost like they admit that people don't want to toggle it on.
A lot of people use
Oh
it.
yeah.
Oh, they do? Okay,
it's a badge of
because I
shame.
feel
Yeah,
like the
I
reason
see
they...
videos of it all the time where I'm like, oh, cool, a Fire Emblem video. Let's check this out. And then I always make sure to go to the very start of the first bit to see what they chose. And quite often people will choose casual.
Yeah.
I've seen that
Some
a lot.
fake tubers with tier lists have those casuals enabled. Too.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
Speed
Talking
Raven.
about some.
Don't
big,
bait me in
no.
with that, Axim. I'll make enemies of everyone.
Oh no! What enemies? You mean to tell me that the best achievement you've ever done is an Iron Man of FE8, and you want to put out tier lists? It's I don't know.
Wow.
It's just suspicious to me.
Can I
that you wanna-
solo FE8 with Seth?
No way! Wow.
Robin, so they take on Awakening?
I don't know. I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna put out a tier list of information, you perhaps should know more than just one game
I don't know.
in one mode.
You should also make it like not boring, like 3 hours
Yeah,
of
that's
staring
true.
at a tier list. Oh boy!
It's true.
Speaking of what we don't want, tier lists. Tier lists can be done well. They can be done well, but
They
for
can.
the majority, they're very boring content. I think they're very lazy content.
If you have
yeah.
proof of what you're saying with either footage put in or information, or you're well known as someone. For example, and I think I've said this before, Zoran. If Zoran is making some kind of informative tier list or guide about Conquest, I'm all ears because I know that he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
He has the credentials to back it up.
And
Like, he
you
knows
gotta, if you're gonna make a tier list, you gotta make it for a purpose. Like Iron Man tier list, I think is fine. Like this is, if you're gonna do an Iron Man of this game, this is like the tier. Like these are the characters I would use for the highest success. But just a general tier list for all-purpose tier list is so dumb because who are you talking to here? Someone who's playing for the first time? Like
LTC, what difficulty?
Yeah.
Are you resetting? There's so many variables, and it's just so stupid.
Yeah, I
hate
want to
them.
bring up
I
a
hate them
story.
so
Like,
much.
for example, I want to bring up a story. Like, when my wife played FE6 for the first time, she was, she wasn't sure who to use, but she really liked OJ. And of course, if you go online, you go like, should I use OJ? No, Deke is better than OJ. Of course, he's better than OJ. But then she used OJ, and he kept speed and luck, and she just kind of soloed the game with him, had a grand time. If she'd just gone to a tier list, people would just put OJ in F tier, because it's like, oh, he's worse than Deke. But it's like,
What's
no, but
the
he's
point? Yeah.
What's the point? Like sometimes a character that's bad for some people can be really good for others, depending on whether you're more or less casual or whether you're playing with Iron Man or not Iron Man. So yeah, the tier list is just it's a really weird thing too.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it's a difficult balance to do because, like you said, it's the demographic that you're trying to hit, right? Like, LTCers are not even going to look at specific characters, and characters that you would think aren't worth anything are super valuable in LTCs.
Yeah.
Like you might find a niche use for like Sheena in New Mystery of the Emblem for LTCs or for whatever reason, because of her weapon rank or because of something specific that she can do.
Peak. I always
Yeah.
use Sheena. Maybe I was the
Actually,
LTC
I don't
all
think-
along.
I don't think
Yeah.
Sheena has any use in LTC, by the way. I just chose a random name there, by the way. I think she actually is considered like useless. But that I'm just saying, like, there's always a way around it, right? And perhaps speaking of things that we do want or don't want, do you think that the series should incorporate more intro friendly? Like, do we think casual mode is enough? Do we think Phoenix mode needs to make a return? Do we want to gatekeep a little bit? Be like, yo, no, you ain't gonna get casual mode with like
No.
none of that stuff. Like be a big boy and complete Castlevania Emblem.
It's
like,
so
in the
weird
right way.
though, because this seems to be one of the biggest issues. At least when I read any like kind of Japanese developer interview, they're so worried that Fire Emblem is too complicated for the masses. They're like, oh my god, please try it out. It's not that hard, guys. We put in the casual mode. Please try it. We know it's daunting. Is it really though? Because you look at Tree Houses, that's a very
easy game.
It's Tree Houses is one of the most complex games, I'd say, and that did really well. So I don't really know. Is this like an unfounded fear that Fire Emblem is too hard?
Fire Emblem as a series is so easy. It just comes down to experience. If you've played even just one Fire Emblem game, you can pretty much handle them all after that with enough effort. That's another thing with the tier list thing that I just always find frustrating is it's like, who cares? Unless you're in some kind of competition, an extra 1 point of dex or whatever just really does not make a difference in the long run at all.
Yeah.
What I think what they should add is a tutorial. Add a 𝗏 mode sort of thing that is then skippable. You know, it's as easy as that. No.
𝗪𝗁 is a little tutorial.
Oh, 𝗪𝗁 did have a tutorial,
It
but
does,
you had
but-
to choose it.
But you don't get to see it unless you go to extras, which is so
Yeah,
weird.
yeah. It's like hidden
what do you
away,
mean?
and it's
Like the
Anna
error?
or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
You should just put there like, this is the tutorial, and then you click like as soon as you load in, you click the tutorial, and you're like, oh,
I just
see.
put it in the first time you play ever, and then make it skippable.
This is why I like tend to recommend 𝗪𝗁 to first timers, because I think 𝗏 mode is a great introduction to the series.
Yeah.
I would kill myself if I had to play it again, but it's amazing for first timers. It really is. It's a good introduction to the series.
You don't get sane to 20 in limb mode.
We have all done that. I mean, real men max out Wallace, but you know.
Max out Wallace. I mean, Tom has a good point. He said you have to understand many people are not good with planning ahead. Fire Emblem is impossible for people who can't think ahead even a little. And I have to agree. Like, there's a lot of people that just like don't. They think, and this is not a hate to them. Like, nobody's saying that you have to play Fire Emblem at peak performance and know every single move, like a super chess game, Magnus Carlsen type deal. Like, it's fine. It's fine to not do that. But I do think that it can't be too easy, because if it's too easy, then like, what is the growth? I kind of want to see a little bit of growth. I kind of want to see you leaving the Game Boy like, that was a smart move. Like, I did a good tactic there.
And
like, you know, I plopped down the right guy.
And people are their own worst enemies when it comes to Fire Emblem. The fear of being bad at Fire Emblem is so crippling to people. They're like, oh my god, what if I use up all my weapons? I'm gonna get stuck. It's like, no, that's not gonna happen. But like the fear, people have this fear of not playing optimally, and I feel like this cripples them more than the game itself almost. Like human psychology, man. Kaga had no idea what he created when he was like, yeah, you're supposed to like let your units die and keep no
You'll get another bloke. It's fine.
Iron Man's is like the way Kaga intended you to play the game, but it's not how most people play at all. Everyone will like reset for 5 hours to save one useless unit, because again, what if it's useful later on?
Jabello out here with his negative bases, really helping. Don Lott, shout out to Jabello, man. Don Lott, if you're out
Here we go. Yeah.
Yeah, Don Lott be like, actually, Jabello's really good. No, Don Lott.
He was telling me the other day that Tomas is actually like the best archer in Shadow Dragon.
Well, there's I don't know. I don't know if he's the best, but he's okay. He can do stuff. He can do stuff.
No, he can't. Hanaka's Meng's Iron Manning is what proves that anyone can Iron Man. It's so funny. I'm terrible at Fire Emblem. I don't even look at weapons. You're
very experienced though, and that's what I was saying. It's all experience.
But I don't even check weapons. Like, I just feel the stats. I literally just feel the stats. Yeah.
I will say there was one time, Megs, and this is something that I've never spoken to you about, but I think it's so funny. I was watching you before. This was before I started my own channel and stuff. So I was like a viewer or whatever. And I'm sitting there, and I remember this guy in chat wrote something like, "Bro, that's just a bad play. Like, you're gonna die or whatever." And you did indeed die. And then he said some comment after, like something like, "Yo, that was so dumb of you to do," and you actually read that one message. You know, when you're streaming, there's a lot of messages. Sometimes you miss them. It's fine. But you went and was like, "Yo, that was really mean. Let me go back and like look at his comments." And one of the comments the guy made was like, "Yo, Megs, you kind of mid at Fire Emblem for real." Because every comment the guy had made was apparently some diss at you, but it just so happens that you read that one. And I said it was funny as hell, because it was like, this is the middest Fire Emblem streamer ever.
Well, here's the thing, though. What people need to understand about me is I play fast because I can't stand watching people spend 3 hours planning out their turns.
Yeah.
I understand. I understood a long time ago that people find it a lot more fun to just watch me fail than to like try and succeed. And so I don't really care if I fail. If I fail, it's content. If I succeed, it's content. You know. So it's like
I think you're right.
So I'm not saying I troll on purpose, but I just sometimes...
Yeah, what are you admitting to here? Be careful with what you're saying.
I am admitting to just not caring about Fire Emblem when I play.
You know what? You're right, Manx, because I've noticed that like my streams, I have difficulty maintaining retention because people like watching me, but I think they like watching. Now, I don't even plan that much. Like I'm pretty fast with my turn takings. Like you can watch it and be. But the problem is that there's and this is not a brag or anything, but my thought process is really calculated so that I don't have failure. I don't have chances. People don't like seeing a guy that does not take risks. Like people don't enjoy that because they look at it and they're like, he's gonna succeed. And I guess that the idea that there's no chance of me failing is not appealing. So I don't know if I should just not care about Fire Emblem. Just like
exactly. For cautions of the win, always gamba. That
the gamble.
Happen.
I think the gamble is what people like to see.
Yeah, no, it's risks taking is what is fun to watch. Putting a unit in front of a bunch of enemies and hoping, like, I know there's a 50% chance that they die, but it's just, it gets riled up and it's more fun for me. And the way I see it, Fire Emblem has a huge roster of characters, and if you lose a bunch of characters in the early game, you get to use those like pre-promotes that come later down the line that don't see a lot of play, and like it just allows you to give more of like of a spotlight to characters that don't see a lot of play. There was one I don't remember which Iron Man it was, if it was 𝗪𝗁 or 𝗪𝗁, but I was just scraping the bottom of the barrel. I was using like units that no one would ever consider using, and it was a lot of fun. So. And that's actually something I'm kind of missing a little bit from modern Fire Emblem. I will say I appreciate how engaged throws like 2 old people into the army towards the end. Like, to give engaged credit where credit is due, Lyndon and 𝗪𝗂.
𝗪𝗁 is younger than you.
I know, but she's old.
Allegedly, none of those ages are official.
But I point that out there.
But I will say what I'm hoping to see in the next Fire Emblem game, I'd like to see a bigger roster. And some late game pre-promotes. That's something I've been missing a little bit from Fire Emblem as a whole, because pre-promotes, I feel like they've been shafted for many games now.
Pre-promotes and Engage are the best characters in the game.
Except for Engage. Engage kind of brought it back, but Engage roster is still a little smaller than I'd like it to be. I would have liked to see maybe 5 extra characters overall. Again, I just like having a big roster.
I don't know if like 60 plus is the way to, like, something like
no,
Radiant Dawn
not
is
60, not Radiant Dawn is 82. Radiant Dawn is 82.
Radiant Dawn is
way
too
too
much.
many.
There are too many characters there to the point that like some characters just don't, like, who's gonna train Vika? Don't say it down loud.
Me, 𝗪𝗁.
It's like why
Get her
you know,
at S rank and then take her into the tower later.
There's just so much going on there that it's like, but something like Shadow give Shadow Dragon whatever hell you want. I do think Shadow Dragon has the most interesting characters in terms of like how you use them in the game ever. Yeah. Like just the fact that if they die, you're like, just bring somebody else on board, they can do it.
Right, yeah.
I think it's good. Like I think that's kind of like how it should be. But maybe people don't want that because it's too generic. So it could be that too.
No, I thought of Shadow Dragon. That was the first thing that came to my mind when it came
Shadow
to
Dragon
a big
with its like roster. Like I think if I looked at a big image of the roster of Shadow Dragon, I wouldn't be able to name a third of the characters.
I would love to do that. I think I could name them all. I think I could.
It'd be funny. Like,
you
imagine.
Bring it up. I want to see it. We should do it right now. Let's see if.
Okay, all right, let's do it. Okay.
Bring up the tier list. And let's see if Speedy.
But there's gonna be someone like Horace adjacent that's gonna be awful. Give me a chance.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna. Actually, you know what? Let's make this even more interesting. Let's do new Mystery of the Emblem.
Don't do new Mystery of the Emblem. There's some complete randoms in.
No. We're gonna make this. We're gonna make this difficult. Okay.
I'm not gonna know it from that.
If I don't know, I'll do it. I'll help you out.
Okay.
Bro.
So what I'm gonna do?
Let's see if collectively
Shadow Dragon portraits I can do.
This is from the Quizmaster, right? I used to do all the quizzes. Like,
okay. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna pull up like I'm gonna pull up a random image of a character, and I'm not gonna show their names, and we're gonna be like, So what I'm gonna do is, this is gonna be super funny, guys. I'm gonna like basically, we're gonna do like, okay, who's this?
That is
The strongest man of
Astrum,
Arcanine.
the strongest man in Arcanine. Yeah.
True. Okay, who's this?
It's the best archer in Shadow Dragon. It's
Oh,
𝗪𝗵𝘁.
it's Tomas. Okay, who's this?
Oh, that's the enemy. She's an enemy. What's her name? It begins with a P, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so bad at FE12.
I know
only
this
played
because
FE12
she's a
couple
bit of a
times.
wife
I know
of
this one
mine.
too.
It's Clarice.
Yeah.
It's Clarice.
Oh, okay. It does not begin with a P then.
Okay. Who's this guy?
Stop doing FE12. I barely know FE12. He's the guy that appears. I barely know FE12.
Okay, who's this?
This is not what I said I could do.
This
You
is
are
a Shadow
trapping
Dragon.
me.
This is a Shadow Dragon character. Who's this?
That is. Oh god, which one is it? It's Palo.
What? You gotta be kidding me, man.
Or is it 𝗪𝗁? Which one is it?
Oh my god, no way.
Who's this?
That's Zane.
That's correct. Okay, how about? Oh, you guys are not gonna get this one.
Is good.
Okay, who's
That's
this?
Elise.
That's Elise. That's
That's
Marth's
Elise. That's Marth's
Okay,
sister.
who's this?
Roshia.
Oh my god, you knew him.
Now that you're actually doing Shadow Dragon characters, I can get them. Yeah.
Okay, that's Astrum again. So we've done this.
He's so good he appears twice.
Okay, who's this guy?
That's 𝗪𝗁.
Actually, that's serious.
That's serious.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, okay.
Okay, all right. This will be tough. This will be tough. Who's this?
Ooh.
Oh, that's FE12. That's the hunter guy that you get super early on in George's chapter.
Who is it?
Oh,
Though?
what is his name? I have
Warren.
no.
Warren. You're right. Axum. You're good. All right. This is actually really fun. How about this guy?
That's Luke.
Is it? Yep, it is Luke. Oh, okay. Cool.
Again, FE12. Stop doing FE12.
All right.
He's like, go up the thing.
Well, these are characters. Okay, let's do.
Pick out the ones that are like the secret ones from
Go
FE12,
across.
like,
You're on one axis.
Okay.
You gotta
okay.
go to the one that like has the recruitment specials.
All right. Who's this?
Oh, that's it's not 𝗪𝗫𝘁. It's the other one. Oh, what's her name?
Starts with the Y.
Yeah, it's like Yulia or something.
Yep.
Yulia. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what
Again,
about
FE12.
what about this dapper gentleman right here?
That dude is hard. That dude.
Yeah.
I'm.
Speedwing's not gonna get
That's
this
hard
one.
guy.
Speedwing's not gonna get
He
this
doesn't
one.
even know who he is.
Who's this guy?
I don't remember whoever that is. That
His
wannabe
name is-
Navarre. I know it's
Samuel?
not. Yeah,
Wait,
Sam.
what?
It's Samto, no?
I thought it was Santo.
Samto.
Samuel?
Yeah. I've always known him as Samto.
Yeah. All right. Well, this was fun. Let's move on. But yeah, like Shadow Dragon roster. Anyway, so I think Engage has like what 33 or something, 30 characters, something along those lines.
Yeah, something like that.
So like I think
About
I would
40.
I would have liked to see 40. I think is a good roster.
It also
size.
depends on deployment slots. You know, if you've got massive maps with a lot of slots, you want more characters. If you've got smaller maps, then
Yeah, for sure. Well, okay. So yeah, we've talked a little bit about what we do not want. So next segment is, unless you guys have something you'd like to add last minute to do not want pile.
Just before, I think one last thing I don't want is I don't want the DLC to be forced onto the game.
Yes.
Like I want a
Yes,
split from what
yes.
Engage did. I want us to have to be like I want the base file.
do
and
the
I want
Dragon Gate
DLC
again. Like
Yeah,
that works
it could be
so well.
added on to my current file, but I don't want it to be automatically added on to my current file.
Yes.
I also
yes.
would like I do think the option to toggle off the online stuff is great. I think they should keep that, which they have been doing anyway since I think Awakening. No. Three Houses. Three Houses you could toggle off the internet.
I think
couldn't
so.
you?
Yeah, you could just not visit
Yeah,
the
you
Outrealm
can
Gate.
do
yeah.
that
I
with
think
all
that's-
of them.
Yeah, I think they keep that. I think
Oh yeah, you have to be online game. That would suck.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
no, that's yeah. I think doing the way it is
That would be awful.
better.
And
So-
speaking of DLC, can we, instead of, I understand that selling power is lucrative, I understand that, but can we just do variety content instead? So I know we've gotten different playable characters before. That usually is what we get from DLC. There's usually a couple extra characters in there. I would really like to just see just more variety with the DLC. Like more playable characters. They don't have to be stronger than your other characters, they can fill maybe a specific niche, but it's just like, here's the DLC. It's like 4 extra playable characters. They join at various intervals. So you don't have to do like...
Echoes did that.
Yeah, Echoes did that.
Yeah, Echoes did that.
And I think that's good. I mean, Echoes also sold a lot of power with the 3rd-tier promotions and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
So
get your pitchforks out, fellas. Everyone's a dread fighter.
and they did and they did that.
Fighters meta.
They put the 𝗲𝗵𝘁 Labyrinth in the post-game content, and they made it ridiculously hard to sell DLC, which we all know that's what they did. Which I guess that's the best way of doing it if you're gonna do it that way.
I mean, 𝗲𝗵𝘁 is actually a pretty good challenge. Speaking of Echoes in particular, 𝗲𝗵𝘁 is a really good challenge as part of Act 6 because it gives you like, oh, there's this extra thing I need to do.
Yeah, and they even tried to into the story a little bit, which is kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, it was really cool, actually. I actually like 𝗲𝗵𝘁 a lot.
It's one of my preferred DLCs.
Need the DLC to do it, obviously.
It's hard,
but
though. It's hard without the DLC.
It's difficult. I did it in less because when I did the Blitzkrieg run, the 500 turns or less hard mode, I was like, I'm just gonna take it all the way to the tower. Like I'm gonna beat 𝗲𝗵𝘁 in less than 500 turns, and I did it. It's doable.
It's not hard, is it, to do 500 turns?
I honestly think you would really like this challenge. It's cool. You don't have to do it Iron Man. Like, actually, it encourages a lot of knowing how to use the turn. This is how by the way, speak of turn wheel, I think the turn wheel is really used well when you use it to optimize turns. When you're like not using it defensively, but like actively. Like you're using it to try to gain ground on your enemy. You're trying to like move faster through the map or like snipe an objective faster, which is I think is really good. The 500 turn in Echoes is very difficult if you don't grind. Like you need to know specific things.
Yeah.
You have to know which characters trivialize certain portions of the game, and you need to know what resources to give to those characters to make sure that you really save a lot of time. If you start doing every single battle in every dungeon, you will not reach it because it counts those as well. So like most of the dungeons, you're actually just kind of
it's like a no grind run in a way, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a no grind basically. It's almost 100% no grind. You have to really know who to invest in and who is worth it. But it was a lot of fun. I actually recommend one day you do it. I use the turn wheel of Blitzkrieg run efficiently. I want to say I used it to almost every now and then. I was like, if I can shave off a turn, I'm going to use the turn wheel just to shave off a turn. And I think that's where the turn wheel shines. Like things like that, like it pushes me to go faster. So.
Yeah, Siglin says I would love to see like another Apotheosis map that we had in a way. I never did Apotheosis, but I've heard.
I love Apotheosis as a concept.
It's like the ultimate endgame map, isn't it? Where everything's like level 99.
It's a final challenge. How far do you want to go with this game? You know,
that's cool.
I like Apotheosis. I'm actually quite a big fan of that sort of concept of just a final thing for you to go and just hit your head against a brick wall until it works.
Yeah, and it encourages you to just max out all your characters, which is what this is the one thing Awakening does really well. It's just letting you max out your army.
Yeah, it gives you a final challenge if you want to just sit and get your characters to become monstrosities, which is fun. That's a big part of Fire Emblem for a lot of people. Wow. The whole 0 to hero.
Oof says he wants maps from older games. If only there was a game that would let him do that.
Yeah.
They did that particular one of each game too would be wild.
Yeah, imagine, and you could like go back.
That'd be so cool. I hope the next game does that.
That'd be great. That'd be great. Someone
Did you know I haven't said engage 2 once this entire stream?
Well, you said it once now, but
that's that just ended right now. I thought we were gonna get through the whole thing without it.
No, well,
here we are.
I'm amazed by Speedwing's restraint. Actually, thought he was gonna show.
But he did say Rev 2.
He did.
Rev 2 would be even better. Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna move on to the final thing. This is where the chat can get involved. So basically, you guys get to dictate what we talk about next. It can be anything Fire Emblem related. I obviously will choose the comments, so be well worded and nice. Basically, just tell us what kind of thing would you like to see us discuss. It's kind of like a Q&A. If you want, you can also direct the questions to like either Speedwing or Axum if you'd like to hear like their opinion first. So just let's see what you guys have to say. I'm just gonna look for some comments here. And this one is pretty good, I think. How would you feel about a Fire Emblem game that pulls a radically different genre, like a sci-fi mecha emblem?
As a spin-off, sure. As the next Fire Emblem game, absolutely not.
What about you, Axum? Do you like to see laser guns in your Fire Emblem?
I'm gonna try to word this in the best way. I'd rather see the 𝗪𝗺 remake. That's how much I would rather
It's
see
a
it.
spin-off. It'd be fun.
Because here's the thing, didn't we just say that we wanted to return to the classics? Like we wanted to return to medieval fantasy. So if we're like seeing things like sci-fi, it's just like
Look,
every day we stray further from God.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. Flintlocks and cannons, I would be okay with that.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that. Yeah.
Pirate emblem, Renaissance emblem. Like
Or
I'd be.
a mage that has fire magic that he
Yeah.
fires out of a tube. You know, there's
Wow.
ways that you can get around it.
Axum just left us, man.
I know, the very concept insulted him
He
so
just
much.
despawned out of his chair.
He got entrapped.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is actually a really funny one. This is something I've noticed, actually. Nick Anderson says, display growth rates in base game. Why do you guys think that they never ever show growth rates in a single official Fire Emblem game before? What is up with that? Why did they refuse to show us growth rates?
I don't like it.
I think they don't want you to know that the unit is good or bad before you get emotionally attached to it.
Yeah?
You should be able to guess a character's growth rates based off their design and their personality. Unironically.
I mean, Alfred dies early, yet he has the highest growth of luck in the game. Like, what is the logic here? I don't get it.
True.
It shows you it doesn't always matter.
It doesn't. Like,
But you should be able to look at a Pegasus Knight and go, okay, they're going to have low strength, high speed, big mobility, and then you look at an armor knight. Oh, he's probably going to have a lot of defense, good attack. I like that. And then maybe throw in a couple of curveballs just to keep things interesting. Or suddenly you have a character that's out of the norm.
This is actually something I wanted to make a video about, and that's how you tell a story with numbers. Because I think that this is something that is incredibly important, actually, to a character's look and feel. I think that it's... One of the things that kind of bothers me a little bit about, for example, Fates is not always great at this. Like, Asura having like a 70% strength growth or whatever. It's like, it's so weird. Like, I understand that they probably did that because they wanted her to be able to fight a little bit, and they knew that she wouldn't be getting levels as quickly as everyone else. But it's just kind of jarring in a way. And
stats are cracked, by the way, like insane.
Yeah, and it's and I feel like not just growths but bases. You can kind of sell a character's story with base stats. I think one of my favorite characters is that does this is like Arthur, who is unlucky and his luck stat is like almost 0, and he doesn't grow it. This is a great way to make a character feel unique, in my opinion. I think this is a big problem that people had with Eddie as the muscle girl with the 5% build growth. I know, Speedwing. I know that it's part of her gimmick that she never grows, and Boucheron is like
no, she does have one of the highest strength growths in the game. The only characters with more higher strength growth than her is Panette and Amber.
Okay, all right, yeah. So maybe I'm wrong on that, but
we've had this conversation before.
But build is different.
Build
is terrible, and she's someone that works out all the time. And then her Boucheron has amazing build and doesn't work out, and they even have a support about it, which is
and he doesn't have strength though. He doesn't get any strength from his build, so it's like wet noodle arms. Like, it's just steroid muscles. Like, it's not really dense. It's like,
really good comment here from Tolu Alemi. He says, agree or disagree, customization ruins Fire Emblem. Limited options stimulate creativity. Speedwing, you have a frown on your face. You wanna give your thoughts on this?
I'm guessing this is one of those guys that doesn't want reclassing, doesn't want skills and all that, which, there are a lot of people that are like that. But the thing with that is it's just so incredibly boring once you've done it once. What you have one really good experience, and it's tight and it's all designed around it. I do get the appeal that if you have very limited options for the player and the enemies, you can craft a super coherent, tight experience.
Yeah.
But what's the incentive to ever play it again?
Yeah, no.
I think the more tools that you give to the player and to the enemies, the more variety you can provide, which then is much more interesting in the long term.
But is there not a golden middle ground?
Yeah, there is. There is. Like, for example, reclassing. I like being able to reclass into every class in the game is stupid.
Yeah.
And it's bad. And it gets rid of unit individuality. Having no reclassing means, I'm just going to use my paladin again, exactly the same as last playthrough.
Yeah.
A game like Fates hits that sweet spot where you have a couple of options, but it's not, overwhelming. So I think you need to have some customization. I mean, people love to grow their units. It's Fire Emblem. I know there's some boring old farts that are like, why wouldn't I just use the 𝗂𝗪𝘁 of the game? You know, a lot of people like to have a level 1 scrub turn into a monster, and it feels like you've earned it. It feels like over your playthrough, by the decisions you've made, oh, I fit him into this class, so he then picked up this skill, and then, oh, the growth's kicked in. You know, people like that.
Axum, do you disagree?
No, I would say like I was just making fun of his of the whole like, oh, 0 to hero. I was like trash. But the truth is,
yeah, for Axum, he just wants. I don't need levels. Just give me a 2020 horse, and I can just go straight to endgame.
I'll make it work. I'll make it work. No, I was gonna say I actually 100% agree with you. I think Fates did it the best out of all of them, hands down. Fates is the best one because not only is the reclassing limited, if you want to get out of it, you can. Like, right, we can give. Like, you can make somebody become a general or whatever, even if they don't have access through that line through marriage or partnerships or whatever, but it costs a resource, and that resource is the support. So it actually has like this kind of traded value of like, in order for me to get this reward, I have to actually use the resource. It was so big, it was so important what I just said that his screen flashed.
Yeah, I was like,
I know, I just got flashbanged. I'm sorry about that. My whole camera just like went
I saw it.
That's funny.
But it's like I do think that there's a resource value that comes with it, a resource cost that comes with it. So I think Fates did it the best. I have to say I think Three Houses took it a little too far. That's one of the negatives I have to say. Seeing Lysithea walk around in armor knight armor doesn't make any sense.
But you need to get that base defense, Axum. You got to give all of them the base defense of armor knight class.
Or I can just gambit or double warp Gremory. Like, it doesn't, like, you don't have to. It ruined her character identity, right?
So,
like, and that, I think that's the line we can't cross, character identity.
So I remember going to the store and buying Shadow Dragon for the first time, and I was very excited to play it because I had played 𝗪𝘂 on the cartridge prior. So when I heard that Shadow Dragon was coming out, it was a remake of the first game, I was very excited. I had my DS, I went and bought it. I started playing it, and I kind of enjoyed the first map. I didn't like the graphics much, but I was having a good time reliving this cool game that I played. The thing that turned me off it, reclassing. That was I
quite like the Shadow Dragon reclass.
I like it more in hindsight, but back then it pissed me off because I was like I can just turn anyone into anything. What is identity? What Navarre is cool because he's like he's like Shadow Lord.
Hey, he's the best cleric in the game, my friend.
He anyone can become like a Myrmidon. Anyone can get a horse. Anyone can that's not true. There is some limitation to the Shadow Dragon reclassing, but
yeah, they have half classes.
But I just this
and
was
you can
one
only
of the,
have as many of that class that you already have.
This was one of the things that turned me off Shadow Dragon first time I played it. Was I didn't like the reclass. I felt like it ruined unit individuality because I was very attached to these Arcanea characters, believe it or not. Because I played it on the cartridge with my friend, and we had we really liked. Merrick was like one of our favorites because he was so cool. He had a personal tome, a cool design, and I was so sad to see that any male unit could turn into a mage and just grab his tome. You know, it's no, that's Merrick's tome. God damn it.
Yeah.
So
Draco Lord Wendell carrying the game. So good.
Yeah.
Sniper Wendell.
Sniper Wendell, pretty cracked. It's strange. I do think I agree with you. I think when it crosses that boundary, it kind of ruins it for me a little bit too. I think it has to be some limits on it. Fates did it the best.
You want a middle ground.
This is a great question from Soren the Ghost. He says, how would you three feel about a sequel/prequel to an existing title set far enough away where it can stand alone, akin to Shadow Dragon and Awakening? This is an interesting one. Speedring, you want to go first?
I mean, what? So it's just in the same continent, and then maybe a 𝗪𝗁𝘁 shows up and goes, "Hey, it's me. Remember me?" So literally just Awakening.
Maybe not that far apart, but
I mean, you could do 𝗪𝗪𝘁, I suppose, but I mean, why?
Or an Engage prequel.
I'll tell you why.
Because Engage prequel? The Sombron Wars, the original Sombron Wars with the Zero Emblem. Maybe that was their plan.
Yeah, maybe.
Guys, I promise you, a Three Houses prequel would be peak. I'm telling you, it would be peak. If you have Seros as the main character and have the Nabateans, which are not really explored, You have the mole people like as the
mole
opposite fact
people.
or whatever. You get like 𝗲𝗁 involved because 𝗲𝗁's already existing, right? 𝗲𝗁 exists. He's a part of the franchise. We can put him in there. You get like other characters. You get Wilhelm, the first emperor of Vedestria. There's a ton of lore in the Three Houses library that talks about all these things.
Oh, the
that
library, my favorite game mechanic.
I love it.
Lug and what's his name, Lug and the King or whatever. All these guys. There's so much lore involving like the creation of the different precincts of Three Houses and like the nations. So like if you do a game based on Willem's like fight against Nemesis, I think it actually goes really well. I think it's a game that will go absolutely wild because you can focus on, you don't even have to have the monastery. There wouldn't be a monastery at that time, right? But you could train up the 𝗵𝗁𝘁. You could have like a bunch of Manichees floating around, a bunch of transformation mechanics. Like I think that would be the way to go. If I had to make a new Fire Emblem but based on an old game, I would revisit Three Houses as well. Like that's just me.
And I gotta say, like, I'm kind of surprised that we don't go back to an older continent, because in the past we used to get games in pairs. You know, we got 2 Arcanea games, we got 2 𝗪𝗪 games, 2 𝗪𝗵𝘁 games, then we got 𝗪𝗵𝘁 which is a bit of an outlier. Then we got 2 𝗪𝗪𝘁 games. So I kind of miss having a sequel or prequel to.
Well, my friend, Engage 2 is waiting for you. Your wish is my command.
Look. I came around on Engage a little bit. I wouldn't even be mad, but I would be a little mad. But I'm still kind of half on the Engage hate train. I'm just a little more positive towards it after my last playthrough. But yeah, I don't know. It'd be nice to see them actually build on an existing world instead of just creating a new. Like, I gotta be honest. If we look at the trailer and the first thing we hear is the continent of Emblios with the 4 nations has long been at war. The King 𝗪𝗁𝘁 II is really mad at the
That's
dark.
what people want. I actually think that would be fine.
No,
people want that.
it's
That's the return to tradition.
People want.
You can have a red cav, a green cav, a red wyvern rider girl. They can have all. They could. Engage was meant to be a nostalgia trip, and it wasn't for people because of its art style, whatever.
Yeah.
But they could make a real nostalgia trip game. Like, really go for it. They'd probably do pretty well, and like a new audience that's never experienced will like it, and then people like us will like it because we'll be like, oh, I know that reference, soy face.
Points at camera.
I'm with the idea of I would like something completely new. To be honest, I kind of want Castlevania Emblem. I think that would be great. I think I know I bring it up, but I think it would be fantastic. Imagine you have the mechanic of like transformation happening, a night and day cycle, something like that. Going on.
I mean,
new gambits.
Did you watch the video? Did you watch the video I made like 5 years ago, like covering the fake Castlevania leaks, Axum?
I think I did. I think I remember that. That's
like
what
the
I kind
first fake leak I covered on the channel, and I mean, I knew it was fake when I covered it because it was the leaker showed up in my comment section and was like, "Eee!" I was like, oh.
It was me.
but I remember thinking to myself, damn, that would be cool though. Like,
it would be lit.
Vampires and werewolves in Fire Emblem would fit really well into the.
It would.
Into the, you could have like a gothic horror style Fire Emblem with like haunt vampire ladies, furry werewolves.
No, true. I'm kind of getting more sold on it now. Yeah, like
I'm just saying, and like a night day cycle, really really cool. Like, of course, indoor maps is a bit complicated, but you could do like, I mean, like werewolves still transform even though they're indoor, even though there's a full moon out, so you could still have the night day cycle kind of affect indoor maps in a way. And I think it would be cool. I think it would lend itself well. I mean, some would maybe say that we're a little bit past that. We're past like the Twilight, like vampire.
I actually
take your shirt off.
There's a resurgence right now because let me tell you, there's a resurgence right now, and there's a void right in this moment that we're speaking.
Resurgence of Twilight. Fans?
No, because what we do in the shadows just ended, and it's a vampire series, so there's a hole left there. Nosferatu was recently nominated for an Oscar. And that's one of the best like vampire movies that they've done in a while, right?
Van Helsing is very popular, right?
Is popular as well. So like, I think that there's room here for like, I think there's actually a niche to be filled. And if I'm Nintendo, I'm looking at Alucard because Castlevania Season 2 just came out, and I'm like, people want to see this androgynous vampire just whoop ass. So like, we should just put our own androgynous vampire out
there. The Lagoose crowd would love werewolves. Like, you literally that's
the
like
Lagoose crowd. Just call them furries. Just say what they are.
Call them what they are. Yeah, the furries would love werewolves. They would fit straight in there. You could even have like Batgirls.
Yeah,
you know?
You could have. Emblem was like
Rogue the Bat.
Yeah, and they're leaning more
Sonic characters. You know.
That's and give Fire Emblem Heroes is like whatever, but they are opening the door to more different types of animal units. I don't know if you guys noticed, like there's been deers, and like the gods are all usually animals. Like there's deers, there's a tree.
Yeah, there's a
guy that's a
chipmunk
tree.
and stuff.
He's literally a tree. There's been 2 snakes so far: a bat, a bull, cowbell, which was amazing. Another whole bull or a cow or whatever. Like so, there are moments for that. Like I think we need more of that. 𝗪𝗪𝘁, the squirrel girl. That's true. That's another one. So
I'm not huge on all that. I love
like it.
People. I
great.
struggle. I mean, maybe having like 𝗪𝗁𝘁 is okay.
Heroes OCs
What about
are
what
so
I'm not big
boring
on
to
all
me.
that. Yeah.
Just like 𝗪𝗪𝘁. Like, oh my goodness. Like, stop
You
butchering
don't
Icelandic.
The world tree. This is a new.
Ｈ𝗲𝘅𝘁
Grangr
with his axe 𝗪𝗪𝘁 is like, my goodness, think of something original, please.
Norse mythology coming in strong there right now.
My culture being butchered on site.
That's funny, bro.
So here, Say has a good question here, a classic one. I think I've answered this so many times, but we might as well go through it. Would you want to return to the traditional weapon triangle, or do you want them to try continuing new things? I know what I'm going to say on this one, but I'll let you two go first.
New things that they try. I mean, we have the weapon triangle back. It's only 3 houses.
Engage had the break mechanic. That's very new.
Yeah, I guess, but I mean, it still had a weapon triangle. 3 houses. One of 3 houses' biggest crimes to me is getting rid of the weapon triangle.
Yeah, and I hate how people were like,
you
but they brought it back with
later.
skill.
It's just the same. It's not.
No, it's not. You don't get them until the late game. So
Yeah,
no, it's not the
the
same.
same at all.
And they're
Yeah.
not even consistent like that. It's completely different.
I love the weapon triangle, and I love it when the weapon triangle matters a lot. When I play early game tree houses, I find myself just instinctively using lances against swords because it's like what I'm trained to do, and I lament that I cannot affect the outcome more. Like,
it sucks.
And it leads to everyone just using bows because it's like, why do you don't need to like equip swords to dodge this brigand, just shoot him with bows. It doesn't matter.
Why would you not?
That's why
use the
Cyril is
best
so
weapon?
cracked. He has point blank volley at like level 2
Yeah.
or something. Like he gets it so fast that he just destroys everything in the game. So it's like I agree. I think a core traditional value of the Fire Emblem series is the weapon triangle. I think the weapon triangle should always be present, and I think Engage did it really well with the break mechanic because it increased. It did something different with it, but it retained its value. Like, I think that I'm okay with that. I'm okay with like, hey, axes break lances.
I mean, break
then,
was
like,
a cool
no
idea,
counters.
but it was very underutilized.
I don't know if we need to see it again, but I like that they tried something new.
I find that it just doesn't matter in the late game anymore. I don't know about you guys, but it's just I forget that it's even a thing in the late game. I get
great
surprised.
concept.
I get surprised when I break or get broken because I'm like, oh, right, this mechanic is in the game. Like in the early game, it matters a lot. But
I mean, it does matter if you don't bonded snore, because then whoever you're trying to like juggernaut with gets broken and then can't do anything.
Yeah,
if you use bonded snore, you're never going to get broken because you can't get hit.
Imagine if imagine if breaking like broke through bonded snore. That'd be a cool mechanic.
That'd be good.
It should, because for everyone else it does.
Yeah, true.
I don't know why. I kind of agree. I do like it.
It's a cool concept that really wasn't explored enough, I don't think. So maybe they might build upon it in the next game. Who knows?
I just say I miss my enemy face weapon triangle. I know I'm a bit of an old school guy, but I really do wish that break had some form of appliance on enemy face. Like, I don't know why. Just putting a unit with a sword and pulling an axe fighter makes me feel good about myself. I don't need much.
I've made a good decision.
5% hidden away.
On a
That's
bush,
all I'm asking for.
On a bush too.
Trisha weapon triangle, 5% hidden away. All I'm asking for, just a tiny little boost that I can impact.
Oh, I like it when it's actually quite strong. I would go for a couple of points of might, maybe
FE6
10 or 15 hit.
Is FE6 the highest swing?
No, FE4 is 20, plus 20 minus 20, and then I made a video about this.
Wow, that game really does suck. Wow,
yeah, FE4 plus
impressive.
20 minus 20, FE6 plus 10, FE7 plus 15, FE10 went back to... Yeah, it's been between 10 and 15 for most games.
Fates does might as well.
Fates also incorporates weapon ranks into the weapon triangle. The more weapon rank you have,
massively.
What I don't like about that is
enemy facing super hard in the game because you got to do the math of like this guy is an S against my B, and then
the problem I have with the Fates weapon triangle incorporating weapon ranks is it's impossible to remember. You need like a chart, so it's like if you need to actually calculate.
Just ninja or borrow it.
Next question. Oh, this is a good one. 𝗪𝗪𝘁 says, rescue drop has been absent for quite a while now. Would you be happy to see it return, or should it remain absent? Are you
I
res-
like rescue drop. I miss rescue drop. I feel like it's a bit outdated now in a way, but it would look really stupid in like super high fidelity, big 3D graphics. I mean, how do you do it? You just have the character like go into you. Like, I don't know. But it is a fun mechanic.
I was hanging out in Discord with 𝗵𝘁 yesterday, and with 𝗵𝘁, and he said something that I actually didn't think about. Because I asked him, like, what do you think there's such a... When people play, like, Undone Saga and Rebellion Saga, why do you think some people find it so hard while other people find it so easy? Why is it so hard to find the difficulty that applies to everyone? And 𝗵𝘁 said, it is because some of them are awakening and fates babies, and they don't use rescue drop. And I'm like, wow, you're right.
That's true.
I mean, possibly, yeah.
Because
it's such a big mechanic in the older games. It's like so important.
It gets more value when you have Super Canto. Like, let's be honest. Like, Super Canto is really what makes rescue drop so valuable, because like you can push a guy all the way up front, and then you just kind of like walk by him and grab him and pull back through enemy lines. And this gets even worse if you consider like the rescue staff.
Yeah.
So now you can do like the slingshots. Like, you know, when you move a horse all the way to the front, pull the guy from the back with the rescue, and you slingshot him over. Yeah, and now that guy has more range. So that is a lot of like, but that comes from the rescue drop being available.
I mean, thinking about it though, 𝗵𝘁 is kind of talking a crock of shit, because Awakening of Fates has pair up, which is like a much more
but it's different.
Controlled
but it's different though, because unless you have shelter,
is it though? I mean, you can
because
pair
you're
up
wasting
trades like in Fates. You can move one unit between 5 units in one turn.
But you can't move after that action though.
Yeah,
like that's the problem.
You need shelter. You need shelter to do
I'm
the
not
rescue.
saying it's the same thing, but I'm saying calling it a baby thing is stupid.
Well, it's
much more
𝗵𝘁,
advanced than rescue drop.
but I think he does
it's
have
not
a point.
exactly the same. I do agree. I think that there's a difference between shelter and like rescue dropping. Like there's
because I was watching, I've been watching a lot of streamers play Rebellion Saga these past few months. Like I'll look for it just to see, because my game, I want to see how people play it, and I noticed a big difference between people who rescue and people who don't rescue. Watched a streamer play on normal mode. He got his ass kicked. And he never rescue dropped a single time. He just didn't do it. Whereas I watched some other guy play Blind and Lunatic, and he was just rescue dropping units everywhere, And he was just
experience. That's what I was saying earlier about Fire Emblem.
Rescue dropping matters a lot. It's such a it's a really broken tool in the GBA games. It gives you so much power over the map if you know how to utilize it correctly. So
just 𝗪𝘁 too.
Yeah. Oh, 𝗪𝘁's even worse with it, because you have trading.
I am not opposed to rescue drop not showing up again. I do think it needs to be nerfed to some degree, and I would also like it to not be rescue drop. I would like it to be like one thing, one action, to make it less clunky. Because the whole like grabbing the guy, dropping the guy with another dude, and then doing like same thing with the 𝗪𝘁 inventory. Grab the guy, trade his stuff, steal all his things, then like give him to somebody else, and then that guy drops him. Like, bro, just give me like, if you grab this guy, you have a penalty of these amount of stats for these many turns. Cool, great. It's the same thing in essence. It's actually even worse, because now if I rescue, that guy will be penalized. So my 𝗪𝘵 cannot now carry the rest of the game after he's rescue dropped. Like right now, he has to wait the debuff off because his horse is hurting because it hurt his leg or whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. But I think there's a balance there.
It's also just broken in an enemy phase environment, because you're plonking your enemy phaser into a good position to then just wipe out whatever's in front of him. Which doesn't really apply so much in the later games. So it's all about player playstyle.
Here's a question that I don't know what you guys' opinion on this is. I know what my opinion is, but I think I know what Speedwing's opinion on this is. Villain Glass says, should weapon durability return for future games? This is something they've gone back and forth on a lot. They removed durability in Fates and Echoes, and then they brought it back for Tree Houses, and then they took it away in Engage. So Speedwing, do you like durability? Should it come back, or do you like Fire Emblem?
I do like durability a lot. I think Fire Emblem is a game about managing resources, and durability of weapons is another resource to manage.
I'm surprised.
Really? You thought I was going to say the other way?
Being such an Engaged fanboy, I thought you'd be like,
I'm not, though. The whole Engage is your favorite game is this thing that you have invented in your mind, my friend. I like Engage, but I'm not like, I don't think Engage. My favorite game is Conquest.
Fine.
That's okay.
But anyway, I think durability is fun, but I will say a half and half is good. I've been playing a hack lately, Shadow Dragon in Fates, and it's not perfect.
Iron weapons
but
have infinite
the
durability.
iron weapons
Yeah.
don't have durability,
That's great.
and strong weapons do. So then
That's great.
there's incentive to have... Because the problem with getting rid of durability, and this is what happens in Fates and Engage, is that your super weapons
Yeah.
have to be crap. Because you can't just have a super weapon that can't break.
Good
because then you're
old
just...
Willy Glands.
Yeah, so I think that's the best way of doing it. Have your mega rare weapons with 10 to 20 uses, and then have normal budget weapons, just,
Yeah.
you know.
And I think that would appeal a lot to like people who like to hoard resources, because every time they use an iron weapon, they feel great. Because they're like, yeah,
I'm saving money
I
per
save money.
action, exactly.
What about you, Axum?
I think the best game that did this was Three Houses. Like, I think that it struck a perfect balance. No,
Well,
honestly,
that's 𝗵𝘅's system, by the way, Mr. 𝗵𝘅
it's
hater.
not quite the same.
It is
because of-
𝗵𝘅's system.
It's not quite the same.
It
because
is.
of
They
com-
took it from
because of combat
𝗵𝘅.
art. It's because of combat arts, like, right? So, like, you have the legendary weapons that enable, like, atrocity and ruined lance and, like, all this stuff. Like, you have these weapons that are super powerful, but the resources to fix them are actually not as readily available in the early game. They become readily available later on to the point that you just spam it all the time.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, like, every time I had to use atrocity, I was like, this atrocity has to be worth it. Like, I have to make sure that this atrocity is worth it. My Raging Storm has to be worth it. My Wrath Strike with my Steel Sword Plus has to be worth it, or else I'm going to have to spend money to rebuild it. So I do think that that was well done, but I think it was a balance between the combat arts and the weapon durability that actually married it well. Like, it cost a resource that I needed to constantly be focusing on. So I'm okay with that. Like, I like that. I think that that's good. I think if I can just spam Willy Glands, or if I can just spam, like...
Yeah, but Willy Glands is terrible.
Raijinto.
That's the point I'm making.
It would be honest,
is,
like, Raijinto and Siegfried are the most broken broken weapons in, like, probably the history of Fire Emblem.
Oh
It's
yeah,
so
Ryoma's
weird.
not actually that broken. It's his sword.
It's
The
so
sword
weird.
combined with everything
Ridiculous.
else. Yeah.
It's so
Xander's
weird
the
that they
same way.
go out of their way to make these Engage S rank weapons the worst by like nerfing your strength in half, and then they just give Ryoma and Sander.
No, that's not
infinite-
Engage. That's Fates.
Fates.
does
Sorry,
that.
Fates. They just give Ryoma and Sander like infinite 1-2 range weapons with no.
No
What?
penalty, no
Are
downside.
you, like-
give extra buff just by holding it in the inventory.
Yeah,
You don't
it's,
have to
it's
have
so
like
everyone
weird.
being near it is enough.
It's
Yeah.
so
It's super
weird.
powerful. I don't understand why the two. I think it's, but like,
And
they're just busted.
especially because they go out of their way to nerf any other kind of 1-2 range that is not a tome in the game. You want to use a ranged sword? Well, -5
Shurikens are pretty
speed.
strong.
Like, it's crap.
Can't double. It even says you cannot. It's like, not only do you get -5 speed, you cannot double. It's
Yeah.
like you will not succeed in beating this speed check, no matter what you do.
But here you go. Have this samurai that just kills everything at 1-2 range. So weird, man. I don't understand what they were thinking with that one.
yeah.
So, yeah. Well, we like durability. I think that's the consensus, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
More resources to manage, the better. I like managing resources.
Yeah.
At its heart, that's what Fire Emblem's all about. You're managing XP. Who gets the XP from the maps? You're managing gold. You're managing, like, more of that, the better.
Yeah. So, Thalso here asks, should enemy/green units have smart AI or dumb AI similar to the classic game? Do we like it when the AI is smart, guys? Or do we hate it?
I mean, it's tough to say, right? Like, I don't want to be in a scenario where I'm trying to save, like, people that don't want to be saved. Like, right? If the AI is actively, like, running into the enemy, trying to kill themselves, and they're like, Xavier's recruitment is the dumbest thing in the history of
It
Fire
is.
Emblem. Because the it's so insanely complex, and you have to, like, basically chuckle all the guys in, like, this little corridor so that they talk to a person at a time, and then a nightmare. And I don't want to deal with that. I don't want that. But, like, something like the AIs in, I don't know, like the 𝗪𝗪 ones are actually pretty good. Like, for the maps that you have the Dawn Brigade and you have the yellow guys that, like, help out, like Archer 313, legendary, right? Even the physics spamming dudes are legendary. Like, there are some ads there that do really good stuff. So, like, I like those guys. I think that those are good. I think we need to see more of that. I don't want to be handed the Teletubbies in every single map because I already have that in Marvel Rivals. Like, I don't want that. Like, it's good enough.
But is it maybe better to have a predictable AI that you can manipulate? And
I prefer that.
Yeah, because it's like, I think the harder the AI is to predict, it becomes more of a guessing game. If you know what the AI is going to do, you can plan around it. Like,
Yeah,
do you
exactly.
guys like the
I
little
don't like
red,
things being out of the player control.
do you guys like the red lines from Tree Houses that shows you where they're gonna attack?
I like engages more.
That engages are so much better. Yeah.
I like engages more.
That just shows
I
when
like
you're in
the
range.
idea-
Well, the free houses ones, they're like confusing and they trick you.
Because
and
they
it
can
doesn't
change.
happen.
They can change
Yeah,
if a unit
yeah, they
dies.
change. Like, I really don't like the free houses. I'd rather have them not at all than how free houses has them. Genuinely,
I like the
it
engage
confuses
one
me
more.
so much, especially trying to play like feeling the stats, but then you see these lines saying actually do this instead, but it's a trap.
Yeah.
It's a trick.
So this next question comes in from Seven. This is one that I have feel kind of strongly about this one. Sev asks, if Tellius had a remake, would you want Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn together or kept separate, or any other changes to Tellius? I'm gonna start off with this one. It's probably what would make people the most hyped, but if they put 2 games in one, we will have 2 worse games statistically. It's not like they're it's not like they're gonna get double the budget, you know.
Yeah.
So I would I understand people would be very excited to play 2 games in one, but I just don't know if it's a good idea to do this like dual package deal. I feel the same way about
play
FE6,
pretty
FE7.
differently as well. Like,
They do.
They play differently. Are you going to suddenly have ledgers in Path of Radiance, or are they going to appear when you transition into Radiant Dawn? And like, nah.
I don't think it would be that big of a difficulty to connect them. Honestly, I think the
It would be
Legends is, like, a
easier
minor
than
problem.
FE4 and FE5.
Yes,
Sure.
100%. And I do think it would be more hype. People like Ike a lot more than they like, I don't know, probably anybody
They
else
like
in the
Ike.
series.
Yeah.
I like Ike. Ike is great. And I also think that it's a game that I would be surprised if they did that. And it's a good choice too, because there's a lot to explore. You would have to rebalance things though. Like, you can't have people from the first generation coming in now in the second game and have Meg be what she is. Like, it's just not going to work. Like, you need a balance somehow, which that game definitely needs a balance. I was actually going to say this, Megs. Rebellion Saga does, I think I said this to you once, that I think that it does a lot of things similar to Radiant Dawn. Like,
It
there are a
feels.
lot of
I
aspects of
realized
it.
halfway through development, I'm basically creating Radiant Dawn.
Yeah, there's a lot
was
of
like, oh
things
my
in
God.
the
From an
game.
FE4 remake
Oh my
to a
goodness.
Radiant Dawn
I was
remake.
like, this is-
flop
this
after
is-
flop.
This is Radiant Dawn. I'm creating Radiant
There's
Dawn.
a lot of things in that game that feel like Radiant Dawn. Like, there are some
Yeah.
pre-promotes that come in that they're like, why is this guy the next coming of Gandalf the White? And
Yeah.
then you have some people that are like, why did I get Vika right now? Like, it doesn't make sense. But
Yeah.
but I do like that. I like that because I think it gives you tools that you need to use to solve on each puzzle. And that, like, I like maps like that. Like, I'll give you the tools, you try to solve this map with that, and then we go to the next one. That's how I think Fire Emblem is at its best, when they give you like that. So I think that there's some value in a Tellius remake.
I will say one thing. If they were to do the dual games in one, it would probably make the most sense to do it with FE6 and FE7, because they play. They're basically a copy engine, right? Like, you could easily do that. You could even have a bit of crossover. Maybe like Walt changes his hair color depending on who you support Rebecca with. Just a small, not like inheritance, but just just a little bit of a thing. And because, like, for example, a lot of people, this is a very popular thing that people ask. Like, if you do not an FE4 remake, but you do FE4 plus FE5, they're so different from each other. How would you even do that?
It's so different. You
How
would
would
end
you-
up
Yeah,
pissing both sides off, because
you go from-
neither of them are going to be the original game.
Yeah, you go from castles and like big maps to like the more classic gameplay of FE5, and FE5 kind of blends into the second generation a bit. So how would that even work?
Yeah, it, like, setting wise, it wouldn't make any sense. They took a lot of liberties with FE5 because it's a separate entity to FE4, even though it's, in the same place, set in the middle of FE4. It's not. It wouldn't work at all.
Yeah, so like, yeah, my opinions on like dual games in one, like, it would generate a lot of hype. I think it would make for worse games overall. But I mean, if the objective is just to generate hype, I guess it's a good thing to do. But man, it's I don't think it's a good idea.
No remakes, please. That's what I want. No remake.
Yeah, we don't. It's
Do not
weird,
want a
man.
remake.
I was so on the FE4 hype train until you came in and like manipulated
I
me.
dragged you down to my bitter,
but I
cynical
don't-
level.
I don't know if it's because you guys have just convinced me or what it is, but like, I no longer want a remake of any kind. Actually, it's weird, right? Because I
think that's for the
take it if
best,
it
to
happens.
be honest with you, because you want something new, man. Like, we've played these games a lot. Like, we know their
Played these
flaws. We
games
know
before.
also I'm
Yeah,
a little remake fatigued, if I'm going to be completely honest. Not just Fire Emblem, but I feel like Like, not to get too like we live in a society here, but we're remaking everything these days.
We do.
Every movie, every game. Hey, do you remember this when you were younger? Do you remember being happy when you were younger?
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to take advantage of that. Yeah.
Yeah,
cool.
and so many flop remakes. I'm fatigued. I'm like, no, not another Disney live action remake, please. And I almost feel the same thing with video games.
Snow
like,
White.
Yeah, wow.
Bro, how are you telling me that Gal Gadot is jealous of that other actor? Let's be honest here. Like, come on, man. I'm not gonna be that guy. But how the hell are you telling me that Gal Gadot is jealous of the?
Yeah, but it's like when they say Ferris, they actually mean most virtuous because it's not about the.
Oh, okay. Well, then let me tell you something. I'd rather take the not most virtuous in this case because that is like it's absurd.
I agree. Gal
You're trying to
Gadot.
sell this. Like,
I don't
come
think
on,
Gal
man.
Gadot can act though. If I'm gonna be completely honest, but
Well,
yeah,
no,
I agree.
she's not the
No,
greatest
not
actress,
really.
but she's a beautiful woman. Like she is.
Oh yeah,
she's stunning.
10 times
She's
more
phenomenal.
prettier than. Here's the thing: Rachel Zegler is not. Oh, whoa, another demon
No, she's
entered the
not.
room.
I don't know why it's doing that, by the way.
Rachel
it
Zegler
scares
is
me every
like
time.
actually a pretty attractive woman, but they made
Yeah,
her
she's
ugly
attractive, yeah.
as Snow White. They like gave her this like weird wig and like she
Lord,
just looks
Lord
like
Farquaad's hair. You like
They look
that?
like
Yeah,
Lord
I don't really
Farquaad. It's
know
weird.
what
They
they were doing with
uglified
that.
her for the role. It's like so weird. They could have made her look gorgeous with like the right makeup and stuff, but they just it's so weird, man.
Yeah,
Anyway, back to,
Anyway, back to Fire Emblem.
yeah, back to Fire Emblem. So here we have
Oh, sorry,
Does from Faustin Jine asks, I probably butchered that pronunciation. Does Fire Emblem need a deep dive into character art redesign? Additionally, would be the best remedy for this be a change in world setting? Ooh, okay. I'm gonna say it once. I've said it once. I'll say it again. Tellius had the prettiest characters. Do you disagree?
Furry.
I'm not
I
even thinking-
personally think FE12 portraits are the best portraits in the series.
For 12, which one's that again? It's just rated.
What?
New mystery.
New Mystery? Really? You thought New Mystery looked
The
good?
portraits, not the models. The portraits.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
My cat's fighting me. I think that
How about Echoes, though?
Echoes has the
was
best art design.
alright. I mean, the overall presentation of Echoes, I'm not a big sell on some of the character portraits, to be honest. For me, it's Arcanea.
I think
Chance
Awakening's
just
mid.
looks-
I think Awakening's mid. I think Fates is
Awakening. I mean, the
interesting.
character. That's when the characters start to look a little kind of
Bit too
more
much
anime-ish.
Yeah,
kind
I don't
of,
like
yeah.
it. I think Echoes have a uniqueness about them that's very good. I think Engage was too far.
I
Chalice is
actually
probably the
think-
best.
I actually
will agree
think-
with you.
Fates did not have very pretty portraits, if I'm going to be completely honest.
Not really. No,
think
not
some
really.
were
They had interesting characters, but the actual
Interesting
just
characters.
objectively the portraits. Yeah, I can
The
agree.
and the official art is not good.
No, it's
Chalice
not.
is the best.
It's really not.
It's really
Pull
bad.
up Ike's. Let me see this real quick. I think it's Ike's portrait from Tellius.
Awakening design?
No, from Tellius. Just pull up his the portrait change from Tellius that he's like with the sword standing sideways with Etard because he's like standing with it. I think it's Ike, Radiant Dawn. It's
I
his
think
like
that's Radiant Dawn, yeah.
yeah. Pull that one up real quick. It's the first one on the wiki.
We're not going to
Like-
do that. I know where you're going with this, Axum. Tellius has some very goofy looking characters. You are
No, I
cherry
think-
picking Ike for this comparison.
No, I'm just saying like this is when I think of Fire Emblem character art design. This is the first one that pops into my mind, and it's always been this one. It's
Really,
like one. It's always this one because I always remember this, and I'm like, this is a cool stance, like the way he's standing with his sword.
Yeah,
sword,
no,
the way he's looking at the camera. It's it's
Radiant Dawn official art is really good.
that one. Yeah,
Yeah,
that one
it's
there. I
really
think
good,
that's
actually.
by far like one of the best art like ideas behind. Like it conveys to me that this guy is some powerful sword dude, general, whatever, and that he's not
Guts
fights for his
ripoff
friends.
says
Whatever.
oof. True.
I guess, yeah, you're kind of right about that.
That's how I feel about it, and I feel that a lot of characters like 𝗪𝗪𝘁 also has this regalness about him. Right?
Careful,
Which is the
careful with that name.
Same. Oh,
Yeah,
you say
be
it in a
very
good way,
careful
actually.
with that
You say 𝗪𝗪𝘁, which is actually very
Let's
good.
stop. Just stop
But
saying
do
it,
not
please.
say it the way it's supposed to be said. Just
King Kane has
King
like
Kane.
he's pretty, King Kane has a pretty cool one. 𝗪𝗪𝘁, the same idea.
Yeah.
Even 𝗪𝗪𝘁, which is like a country bumpkin, has like a really cool one too. So I think that like Radiant Dawn and Tellius in general had these really cool artistic decisions that made it look like these characters were in a way important and special, even if they weren't. Like even Meg has a cool one of her like standing with like in a certain pose. Like I think it's really nice.
Yeah,
I
no,
think
it's
a good.
it's true.
For me,
Now-
it's Minerva. Minerva is the absolute peak design that they've ever made. But
I
they'll never
agree.
top
Minerva's really good.
They're never going to top Minerva, or if they do, it's going to be really difficult to do.
I actually want to show off 𝗪𝗵𝘁's art because that's actually one of my favorites. Like this,
Yeah.
I don't like her. I don't like her pose. It's janky. And I don't like the way her legs. Like she's like, she looks like she's
noticed
tripping.
her shoes look like that. What?
Yeah,
Is that the
but
Radiant Dawn or the Path of
that's
Radiance? one?
Radiant Dawn, 𝗪𝗵𝘁. But I miss this art style so
Check the-
much.
The Path of Radiance one is really nice. I think the Path of
Yeah,
Radiance one conveys more of it.
actually, I would agree. The Path of Radiance one is actually much better. Like this one, you mean?
Yes, that one.
Yeah,
that
this
one
is this is
way
a
better.
great artwork right here. This is a great artwork right here. This is, I love the 𝗪𝗪𝘁 art style so much. This is where I think Fire Emblem reached its kind of peak. I think it's the perfect, like, it has so much soul, and yet it's kind of it's full of color, and it's fan servicey without being tacky. You know, like there's a lot of thigh here, but I don't think anyone like it's tasteful. It's good.
Femoral artery on a soldier, you know.
The armor is definitely not what I'd call practical if you look at it, but I think 𝗪𝗪𝘁's armor is beautiful, really. So
I mean, even 𝘂𝗏 has one that's pretty dope too, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah.
Let me see if
So
Radiant Dawn one.
it's just I really miss the 𝗪𝗪𝘁's art style a lot, and I hope that whatever next game we get, I just want it to have a strong theme again. Like I may not enjoy the artwork of Fates, but I enjoy how it at least follows it. Like the Hoshiden and Nor have very distinct art styles. You know, you look at a character from Nor, you know that character's from Nor. You look at a character from Hoshido, you know that character's from Hoshido. There's no doubt in your mind. So it's I
and
really
the
want
theme
them.
of the whole game is wrapped up in it. The
I want
music,
them, I want them to have a
locations.
strong identity again. I want strong identity and characters, because that's like my number one problem with Engage is just like it's kind of hard to. What they do, it's with the Illusion characters.
It was
kinda,
a nostalgia game. It was meant to be all the games at
yeah.
once.
The Illusion
you know.
characters probably have the strongest theme, but like it's kind of hard to tell where the characters are from at first glance. Which I think is a,
You can do it by their names. They all have names.
yeah, the names are there, right? Like I was gonna say the Psalm characters have things in common, but even then, like Pendreo and Panette are the only ones that are really they're siblings. And then
Bunei and
like,
𝗪𝗪𝘁 have like a whole childhood growing up together in like a restaurant that burned down and all that.
but
Wow.
they don't look like they're from the same.
They
you
don't
know,
look
you
like
know
it
so
necessarily,
much
sure.
stuff about Engage that no
Because
one.
I
I
wouldn't be able to
actually
say
read
that
the
they're the same
supports that
thing.
you say are bad without ever reading them. That's how, Mangs.
But-
I actually read
But
the story and the
Speedwing,
lore.
I
that people
saw
go, oh,
Fram
the
Alir
supports
C
are
support.
so bad. Name them. Tell me them. No, you can't because you didn't read them. You just decided they
Fram
were bad.
Alir C support. Fram Alir. All I needed to see.
Exactly. You and many others.
The fire dragon looked at me. All right. So, well, we've been going for almost 2.5 hours now. We can probably do a few more questions before we sign off here. But I don't know about you guys, but I've thoroughly enjoyed myself. This has been very,
Yeah,
very
this is
enjoyable.
great.
A lot of
really
fun.
enjoyed
Enjoy
I much
yapping.
prefer this than the draft race.
Yeah, this is
the
like-
draft, well,
Imagine
imagine
that
me
we
sitting
just,
here like I gotta hit this 80% crit, and I'm gonna talk about this. But I can't.
imagine we
It's
just
like, I
take the
can't.
draft racing out of the draft, and it's a great
That
time.
was the
It's
that was the
amazing.
key the whole time. We should have just done that from the start.
This is a great one from Binks. Do you think there will be a way for new and older fans to play the older titles in the future? How can new fans get a taste of these classic old school games that they want to try it out? This is something that annoys me to no end. Nintendo's
They
be
hate
like,
money.
Nintendo be like, oh, here's a remake of FE1, or like a port of FE1. Limited edition.
Get it now. Or here's 𝗪𝗵𝘁 on the eShop for Japanese customers only.
Why? Why do they make it so hard for people to like? You could charge like $5 for them. People pay it. It's just
It would
money.
still be money. Yeah,
It's
it
just
was
Do a
money.
Fire
Actually,
Emblem collection and just stick
Yeah.
all the ROMs
They did it with
together. as-
Castlevania.
Yeah,
And it was
it's-
great.
Maybe that's what they'll do on Switch too. I hadn't even considered that.
Is it
They
because
could
they?
do a Fire Emblem Classic collection.
Is it because they don't
I
like
mean-
Kaga? Is it because they don't like Kaga?
Maybe. I doubt it though. I doubt it because they
I
did.
don't
They
know.
did. They did do it. I don't know. Like
This
you
is
could
just-
get
didn't the
FE1
Wii-
if you snapped it up before they took it off.
Do you think
Didn't
maybe?
we-
Do you think maybe they just think it's too many games to bother? Because like, there's like 17 of the damn things, you know.
There might be some kind of legalities involved with translating it.
Actually, how long
That's
does,
the
how
only
long
thing I
does
can
it
think of.
take for a game to become public domain? Is it like 50 years?
It's a long time. Like Steamboat Willie, the Mickey Mouse on the boat, only became public domain like
it might be
a
like
few years ago.
it might be like 100 years then.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah, so it's like we can't wait. Just wait like 80 more years, guys, and
finally we can finally play Engage
and not
as it was meant to be played.
But yeah, I will say it frustrates me to no end that Nintendo doesn't seem to kind of have more respect for the franchise by like making the older games accessible. Just do like a giant big giga pack like that you can just download on your Switch or whatnot.
Engage shows that they clearly are willing to make a game saying, hey, remember all these older games. Why would they not then follow that up or do it before Engage with here's a way to play them?
Yeah. And with Heroes too, I mean, there's like Reinhardt alone would make people want to go play Thracia.
It's some of the most popular characters in Heroes are not on an English release at all.
It's crazy. Yeah, no, I mean, if you go to Choose Your Legends and you look at the top 20, there's a lot of characters from old school games in there. Lots of genealogy characters that people just like because they like their design, and they would probably, or maybe they just, I don't know,
Ishtar.
maybe
they definitely didn't play genealogy.
I like Ishtar's Heroes design.
Yeah, Ishtar, like, and also recently there was Igren. It's also another character that's like, I don't believe anyone who played 𝗪𝘁 like used Igren on their first playthrough or like their 50th
but that's
playthrough.
because of how Cubone has been drawing Igren, to be honest. Like,
true, but it's just I'm just saying like she's way more popular than she has a
Maxim, don't you worry.
It's just like no one except for me. No one except for me actually use Igren when they play 𝗪𝘁, but yet she's so popular. And yeah, it's because of the way she's drawn. Okay, cool. There's another guy who uses Igren out there. That's
I like Igren.
Yeah.
I'm a client supremacist guy.
Klein is good. I will admit. Okay, Donald, good question here. So he says, "Are we going to get more Fire Emblem podcasts like this?" I don't want to call it a podcast because podcast is like algorithmic suicide. This is kind of like a test run for me because I've always wanted to do this, but you name it a podcast and YouTube just kills it. So this was kind of like to see if people were interested in it kind of way, and I think it was actually pretty successful. Chat's really active, very interested in joining in the conversation, so I dare say we would. And of course I've also kind of thought about maybe bringing on like a guest, like in addition to Speedwing and Axum, like bring on like a guest appearance every now and then. So yeah, I want to do more of this for sure. I think it's actually a lot of fun. I think if we get a new Fire Emblem game announced on Wednesday, we should get together at some point and discuss, which also reminds me, we got to do the bingo.
Absolutely.
We got to do the bingo.
Oh, true.
Remind me to do the bingo before we that'll be the last thing we do.
Yes.
That'll be the last thing we do.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's do like a few more and then we'll fire up the bingo. So let's see. Here's a good one, actually. We kind of touched on this a little bit earlier. But Flame Emperor says, would the remake/new title match the hype of Three Houses carried through? We know what happened with Engage, and Three Houses lasted for a long while. Difficult to say, though. But I think the consensus is that I think a remake would die a lot faster than a main title.
Yes.
Tree Houses, I mean, you guys were... Speedwing, did you have your channel around when Tree Houses?
I did, but I didn't play Three Houses on launch.
Yeah, and Axum, you made your channel after...
Yeah, my
channel's 4 years old. Actually, maybe I didn't then. My channel's 4 years old. When was Three Houses?
Because
I got my 4-year thing.
Longer than that.
If you weren't a content creator back in the Three Houses Golden Age, it's kind of baffling how long that game lasted. I'm telling, like,
people actually made videos for it. You know?
I know, but it's like I remember making like videos like 2 years after the game came out and just like algorithm on fire, like just insane.
You want to know something interesting about that though, Max? In one of my severe coping sessions about Engage, particularly you, I counted up the amount of Three Houses videos you did and the amount of Engage videos you did, right?
Do tell me.
I can't remember the exact numbers, but it was about like 170
Fire Emblem stuff right there.
It was about 170 Three Houses videos and then about 17 Engage videos, right? It was 10%. Whatever it was, it was 10%.
With all the Let's Plays I did?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Because I did Let's Plays back then.
You made less than 10% of the amount of videos to Engage.
Reading chat right now is hilarious, by the way.
The view percentage was the same. You got the same amount of views, you just made less content.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I did the maths on all of it when I was coping hard.
Damn. You're
have to
just
send it to
telling
you
me
at
that
some
I
point.
just flushed money down the drain with Engage.
I think Spiegel
Perhaps.
needs to find a new hobby, bro.
Man,
I'm just saying.
I feel bad now. But yeah, I mean, to be fair, I did do Let's Plays back then because Let's Plays were still kind of a thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge
YouTube
part of
after
it.
2020, man, like YouTube just murdered Let's Plays on like just you try doing Let's Plays and just YouTube will just go, your channel does not grow now. I don't
But
know
I
why.
wonder if that's because they started the live initiative. Perhaps they wanted to
Maybe
transition
people just
into
prefer
that.
live streams to Let's Plays right now. I miss it. I miss making Let's Plays. I really do. My channel was built on Let's Plays, man. I did like Let's Plays for 10 years before I started streaming. But it's just sad. It's like you start doing a Let's Play and your sub count just stops. It's so weird. It just stops. And then you stop doing Let's Plays and it's like brrr, goes up again. I can't explain why. I think it's because maybe when you do regular Let's Plays, there are people who don't like that, who go, I'm gonna unsub now. So you kind of like, you're losing subs at the same rate you're gaining them, maybe. I'm not sure, but it's very
It
sad.
gets less views, which then tells YouTube. Like, my channel was crazy at one point. I was
You
getting
got
like
some,
20,
you got some
30K.
like, you got some insane
I've got
banners.
hundreds of thousands on some. I did a playthrough of Engage. So technically, Engage killed my channel more than anyone else. I did a Let's Play of Engage, and it was terrible. I didn't do a good job of it at all. I just recorded and yapped. And
Yeah.
each of those got about like 100 views. And ever since then, even to this day, my videos still don't get the same reach as they did before
It's
that.
the
Because
algorithm
YouTube
is
saw it
weird,
and said,
man.
well, let's not promote these videos because look.
Yeah, and also like,
Right? So yeah, Let's Plays suck.
but something has happened to YouTube. Like, it's hard to grow your channel now, post like in 2020 and beyond. Something has happened where I've noticed, because I'm subbed to a lot of smaller Fire Emblem channels. I watch your channels. I keep tabs on a lot of different channels because I'm curious to see how they're growing. Because I'm like, I like just paying attention to these things. For about 3 or 4 years now, I feel like so many smaller channels have just been stagnant. Mine is growing a little bit, and it's just stagnant. That might be because Fire Emblem is a little dead in the algorithm right now, but I also just, I don't know, YouTube just seems to punish smaller channels now. I think it's just all Asmongold reacting. Just takes up all
They
the...
want to just have the reliable cash cows. It's
think I'm gonna
taking a
make-
risk promoting and pushing someone smaller.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna make a reaction video of this video.
You react
I'll make
to this,
a react to that reaction.
and then I
I
react to that,
reacted-
and we just...
that's how I reacted. I reacted that way because
How
of
many
the
react
meme.
cycles do you think we can go through before it just gets impossible to...
Just the whole screen is just webcams layered on top of each other.
Yeah.
Let me react to how I reacted.
Ooh, I want to do this one because this is something I really feel I'm passionate about. 𝗪𝗂𝘁 asks, how about a Fire Emblem with unicorn art style unit building would give players a lot more chance to use all characters and room for more interesting character creation? I actually thought you were going to say artwork, but I
Yeah,
guess...
same.
So I'm just going to pretend like that's what you asked.
Reality could be whatever I want.
Please, 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 please. Unicorn Overlord art style for the next Fire Emblem.
Oh,
doesn't
yeah,
have to be 2D necessarily, but the unit
Nice,
sprites. Oh, that's such a pretty game. Like, I would love to see a
Gorgeous. The
sprite.
animations are so nice.
And a thing that is really underrated with Unicorn Overlord is the lighting. The lighting of that game, like when it thunders and stuff like that, like it's so gorgeous. I'm watching the cutscene. I'm just blown away by the beautiful lightning effects of the game, and I would like to see that in Fire Emblem. I think it's a very underappreciated aspect of art style, and just like gorgeous sprite-based characters, I think would be.
I love
really...
the way that they like kind of move, like the witches and stuff kind of like wiggle.
Yeah,
like
they
this
wiggle
and stuff.
around.
It's fun. It's got such a nice aesthetic to it.
It's very fan servicey, but you can copy the art style
I like
without.
fan service.
I like fan service too, but
I
like
don't
I
mind
know
fan
a
service.
lot of people. Like my wife didn't want to touch Unicorn Overlord because of Scarlet. She was just like, "There's no." I'm just so distracted by that. I can't even pay attention to. So it turns off some people for sure. But I would very much like to. I don't know. I'd love to see that art style return. Doesn't have to be as fan servicey as Unicorn Overlord, but a nice middle ground would be cool, I think. So, let's end it off with a wholesome one here, Axum, because you got a question for you here. Hanako
for me?
asks, "How's father life?"
Oh man, that's nice. Father life is great. I think it's one of the best experiences a person can ever have, but it is challenging. It comes with challenges. It's a very big time commitment. It is also like you're rediscovering how you deal with fatherhood, how people around you deal with fatherhood. But there's like today, I'll tell you guys a wholesome story. Today I took my daughter to a before I came here, I've been working a 52-hour week basically. So I'm like the gas is out of the chamber. I sleep like 4 hours a day. That's it. But not a woe is me story, because this morning we went to a class, like a speech therapy class for babies. There's nothing wrong. It's just like a practice class for them to understand.
Sorry to interrupt you, but can I ask how old your daughter is? I'm just
My daughter
curious.
is a year and 4 months now. No, a year and 3 months.
Okay, so you're
Yeah,
pretty
so I know.
fresh dad. You only have one,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Only one?
I only have one.
Okay, okay. Continue.
A girl.
I just wanted to know.
She's beautiful. I love her to death. She's so funny. She's starting to show her own little personalities now, which is really cute. And we went to this class, and it was me, my wife, and my daughter. And my daughter was super shy, like the entire time. She didn't want to talk. She didn't want to do anything. She was like kind of like hiding away. But then as soon as like they brought out the toys, she suddenly got up and started walking in and playing with the toys and running around. And then we couldn't keep control of her anymore. So it's just really cool to see like that aspect of how children can they really don't take anything to heart, man. They just live their life in the moment. Like in one moment she's sad, she's upset, the next moment everything's good and she's happy and it's a great life. So I think all of us should be a little bit more like kids, like, you know, live in the moment, take each day, like be mad when you got to be mad, be happy when you got to be happy, and you know, and just try to make the best of it. That's really how I feel. So father life is great. It's taught me a lot. It's the biggest teacher I've ever had.
I've heard that it's like you get to relive your childhood again. True.
Yeah.
You get the kind of things that you've forgotten. You now can take pleasures in the things that you don't remember anymore, but you get to experience them through your child's eyes.
100%. Like I see my daughter like sit down and play with the most mundane things. Like, right, she'll empty out a full. We have like this little go-kart that's like a little it looks like a cart that you take to the supermarket to fill up with stuff. She'll fill that thing up, and then she'll look at it. It's full, and then she just drops everything on the floor, and then she puts it back in again, and then she drops. And she does this for hours. Like it's just
like Heroes plays.
Exactly. She loves it. She's just cycling through her content. It's great.
You think she's ever gonna play Fire Emblem?
You know, somebody asked me that. Would I ever want my daughter to like play video games and stuff like that? And I said that I don't want to force her to do it. Like I don't want to force any child to do anything. Let me be very clear there. But I don't want to I don't want to influence her to do it. Like I want her to make a decision to do it herself. I can tell you this, she loves songs. Like she sings. She like tries to mimic the singing even though she doesn't talk. In particular, she likes Kendrick Lamar a lot. I don't know why. Wow. But she'd be listening to They Not Like Us and she's like bumping it up. And I'm like, wow, that's really funny. And the uncensored version too, so it's fantastic. I'm really good dad here, like really teaching her some
She's
values.
not old enough to understand yet, so I guess
for
it's
now.
fine.
But
for now,
the other day, I'm gonna curse real quick. But the other day, I said something like "oh sh," and then she was like "oh sh," and I was
that's how
I was like, ugh. So now I have to like try to do that. But somebody said in chat that avoid kids watching YouTube. I don't let her watch YouTube. Like we try to keep it really to like, if we do, it's Miss Rachel. It's like people things. Like
just
like
don't let her watch CoComelon. I think.
Yeah, I was about to say that it's like brainwashing. It's crazy.
We try to do things like Miss Rachel and Sesame Street, which are like real people interacting and teaching you things. So that's kind of like the idea that we do behind it, is we wanted to see people, we wanted to see music, we wanted to see that. We try to get her to draw and to play with things like that. So we try to keep on top of that.
Wholesome. All right, guys, it's time for bingo. So how we're gonna do this is I'm gonna let Speedwing do one, Axum do one, Chat do one, and then I do one, and then until we fill out the bingo chart, and then let's see how many we get right. So I want us to not put things that we want, but things that we think will be in the game, and see how many we get right. So it's a bit of a prediction bingo, if anything. So let me just bring up the bingo chart, the lovely, cheap, free-to-use bingo chart maker that I always use during my streams. I guess I'll just put it over. I guess I'll put it here. So Speedring. What's your first prediction? What's your first prediction?
My first prediction. Avatar characters.
Avatar.
Those will be mine too. That's so easy.
Avatar is an easy one for sure. For sure. What about you, Axum? What do you want to put on your bingo?
Lolly Dragon.
Lolly Dragon.
You think they'd put it in the trailer?
Wow.
Lolly Dragon.
Okay.
Vale was in the trailer, wasn't she?
True.
Was she? Not as a dragon.
All right. I'm gonna just pick. This is really bad, but I'm gonna close my eyes and just pick a random one. So I don't know. I am not responsible
You've
for what
scrolled right up to before even the bingo somehow.
Yeah, so like chat just shout out things and I will just like pick one at random and probably regret my choice. So we'll see. This is gonna be like kind of weird because it's us and then chat's like random thing, but that's what makes
There's
it
some
fun,
pretty good
right?
ones in there.
All right, so this one. I missed it. I'm sorry.
okay.
This is harder than I thought. Joy? Joy?
Joy. Yeah,
Uh,
it's actually.
Okay. Okay.
Joy.
Like people happy? Maybe somebody's smiling.
Okay, fine. All right. Me. Damn. Okay, I'm gonna go continent of Emblemia. Like basically what
Something along
what I
those
mean by
lines.
that is that the trailer's gonna open up with the continent of with the
The
four
Duke
nations.
of Nasty Land
Oh,
is in
yeah.
a conflict
Edgelord.
with the
He wrote
wizards
Edgelord.
of Magicville.
Yeah, it's like that's how the trailer's gonna open up with like an exposition on the content. Because I think we're gonna get a new game, so that's what I think they're
Thanks.
gonna. Yeah.
Like, they said the joy is the name of the user, and that the person said Edgelord.
Oh,
Okay. And Lord. Okay, sorry, I misunderstood that one. Okay, Speedwing, what's your next prediction?
blue-haired main character.
Oh,
Oh.
okay, all right.
Bold of us today, aren't we?
Blue-haired main
Well, we're going
character.
for what we think is going to happen, Axum.
True, but that's what's fun about it. All right, Axum, you're next.
Okay. Female mysterious character.
Female mysterious character. Okay. All right. Chat, you're up next. So let's see what we pick. Something offensive is gonna pop up on screen. I just know it. Okay. Lance.
Ooh, Lance's main lord
Lance.
weapon.
Okay. All right. Lance.
That's a bold- that's a bold
remake
choice.
confirmed.
Okay.
There it is.
I mean, I can see that. That's not too much of a wild one, I think. All right, me. Oh boy. I'm gonna go with a pretty safe one. Turn wheel is back. Yeah, they're gonna show the turn wheel in the trailer. I think they're gonna go safe with this one. All right, Speedwing.
Hate to say this, but some form of monastery / Somniel /
My base slash
my base. Yeah.
castle. Yeah. So it's almost a given at this point, I think. All right, Axum.
I think we're gonna be seeing some new mechanic for combat, like something like a gambit or a
Yeah.
engage
You're saying what you
or-
want to happen at this point.
Mechanic.
Axum.
New combat.
Yeah, but
mechanic.
I think we're gonna see that. I think they're gonna give a new combat mechanic of some
Yeah,
sort.
no, it's
I hope
a
they
good
do.
it's a good bet. It's a good bet. All right, chat is up
They'll be
again.
like, look, if you perform the wiggles, it works this way.
Yeah, some new gimmick or something. Yeah. Blow in the microphone for bonus damage.
Okay.
Make sure to hold the both hands.
Someone being barefoot.
Kaga's not in charge anymore.
Someone being barefoot. Oh, this is honestly a good one. This is honestly a
That
pretty
is a good one, and that'll
Yeah.
be a really funny one if it does happen.
All right, it's me again. Okay, so how many rows do we want to do here? Because you could do a pretty big bingo chart. Well, we can fill it out a
Oh,
little bit.
until we feel like we've got a lot of them.
Oh boy. Okay. This is a big one. 2 main characters.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's
Alm
possible.
Celica style. Like
Well,
brother
are we
sister.
counting Avatar and main character, like a Robin Crom situation?
Like a dual route split. Like 2 armies.
Wow. Okay.
I don't
Okay.
know. I'm feeling it. Just like you'll play 2 sides or something. All right. Speedwing.
Something that's likely to happen.
Yeah.
Likely.
Or you kind of just take the
The
shit. You can
evil
take the piss.
dragon.
Evil dragon. Let's go, evil
Can't go
dragon.
wrong.
You can take the piss and do something funny too. I mean, we don't have to win. All right, Axum.
I only play to win, bro. That's all I do. Me, I think there's gonna be a world map. I think there's gonna be a world map.
World map.
I think we're gonna see
like
a world
in-game world map.
Yeah, I think a form of world map, either like one of those like in the continent of Эмблem.
Well, that's a bit like what
I
Mike
already
said
took
earlier,
that
isn't
one,
it?
though, but
okay,
we could
so
do
like-
in-game world map, like they run on the overland map.
like a
Oh, sure.
like a FE8 style. We're walking from here to there kind of mission type deal.
Okay, and let's pick a random one. This one right here. 𝗪𝗂𝘁𝘁? What?
Sephiroth,
𝗪𝗂𝘁?
Confirmed.
I think that
the
might be a
ultimate
response. I think that might be
crossover.
a response to my. So I'm gonna pick another because I think he was like 𝗪𝗂𝘁. It's a weird one, so you know. Let's do this one. Weapon triangle.
Triangle.
Okay,
I
all
mean,
right.
They could showcase it. They
Weapon
could have a
triangle.
character,
Okay,
you know.
all right,
Can't
okay.
go wrong. Yeah, that's fair.
All right. Oh, it's me again, yeah? Yeah, okay. So
Yeah.
weapon okay. Weapon triangle. Something that might happen. Ooh. Oh,
really
yeah,
thinking about this.
Furries.
Oh no.
You're gonna have the return of
Yeah.
some kind of 𝗪𝗂𝘁 type character, like or a squirrel people or something. We're gonna have furries. All right, Speedwing.
Bald. Do bald. Just do bald character.
Bold? Like bold?
Got to have bald character.
Okay, bold character. Okay, that's fine. Axum.
There will be a mascot of some sort, a Sami or like an owl or something like that, like a mascot character.
Mascot character. Do you write that with
Yeah.
one or two T's? I forget.
It's one T.
One T? Okay, let me make this a
Yeah,
little
I think
bigger.
Is
it's like
Anna a
literally-
mascot character?
She
technically is.
I don't know. I guess she kind of is, right?
I
Sure.
guess
If
so.
they
Yeah,
could show
a mas-
Anna. I mean, I wouldn't put it
I
past
don't-
them showing
she
Anna,
won't.
because that also works for heroes.
Well, sorry, was it one or two T's?
One T.
One T. Okay, mascot character. Okay, that's fine. All right, chat. Let's pick another comment. This one. Guns.
Guns.
Wow. Thank you for ruining our.
Shotgun
Thank you
emblem.
for ruining our bingo. I appreciate that. Like, that's
Yeah, that
probably,
line's not happening.
That's probably not happening. So
Imagine the next Fire Emblem, like, and now you wield guns.
wow,
The
American.
sacred
America
sniper.
The bingo chart is strangely accurate to this. It's the American flag. It's America emblem. Let's go.
America Emblem.
All right,
In a
I guess
world.
it's me again. So I will do. Oh, okay. I'm gonna do a time travel.
Oh, you think? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot
Or
done.
this.
Yeah, some kind of like time travel, go back in time, just freeze time, something like that. I guess time turn wheel would be, but like the gimmick will be that we go back in time sometime. Like
Yeah. Like an awakening type thing.
Yeah. All right, Speedwing.
Some form of nostalgia. So they either reference another game or
Nostalgia
character or
bait?
something. Yeah, nostalgia bait. Even if it's
Yeah.
not in the game, they'll show like the pommel of a falchion or something just to.
Yeah. All right, Axum.
Character portrait, not portrait. Character outfit customization.
Character outfit customization.
They're like,
All right.
and you can even go into battle wearing a speed suit, or a speed
I'll do character
speedo. You can
customization.
go into battle wearing a speedo.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we have. I think we're gonna do. Well, I'll let Chant do one, and then I'll let you guys do the last because we have 5 now, which I think is a good row of bingo. If we have
Yeah,
to do
sure.
another one, we have to add a bunch. So I'm gonna let Chat pick one, and then so we'll do this one. It's hard to. It skips too quickly. I'm trying to like click it.
I mean, that's a pretty safe bet.
It is.
That's a pretty safe bet.
That's a pretty safe one. All right, I'm gonna let Speedwing and Axum get the 2 last ones.
Something that's. I'm just trying to think in my head the trailers because
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the trailers. A skill activation.
Skill, a safe one, yeah. Skill activation. All right, Axum, you get the final one.
A flashy critical hit.
Flat.
Yeah, it's the same idea, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, flash a critical hit.
Like some
Like
crazy
a sword
upside down
master
sword,
doing the whole.
yeah.
All right,
like,
so this is
Vulcan or whatever.
This is the bingo, guys. Avatar, Lola Dragon, Edgelord, Continent of Emblemia, blue-haired main character, female mysterious character, Lancelord main weapon, main lord. Turnwell is back, My Castle, new combat mechanics, someone being barefoot, 2 main characters, Evil Dragon, in-game world map, weapon triangle, fairies, bolt character mascot, guns, time travel, nostalgia bait, character customization, big boobs, skill activation, flashy critical hit. Once the trailer drops, if it indeed drops on Wednesday, we'll come back to this bingo and see how many we got. It's gonna be a weird one, I think. The guns kind of ruined it a little bit, but you know,
everything but guns.
Yeah.
I think is incredibly possible.
Unless like
Guns also isn't off the table if we count like a cannon.
Yeah,
oh, like
I guess, yeah.
like the hero's gun that shoots portals. That would count.
The 𝗪𝗵𝘁.
The 𝗪𝗵𝘁, yeah, that would count.
I mean, there's kind of like crossbows that could be arguably close to guns.
Bow guns. It would be a stretch, but if it's the one thing preventing us from getting a bingo and we get like a bow gun,
we'll include it.
I'll stretch myself.
I mean, listen, if it's Castlevania Emblem, silver bullets, right? Gotta have guns.
Yeah,
It'd be good. It'd be
Gotta
good.
have guns.
All right. Well, we've almost streamed for 3 hours. This has been very enjoyable. I enjoyed this a lot more than I thought I would, and very happy to have you on. And I hope we can get together and do this again sometime after the trailer drops, if we're lucky enough to get a trailer. One final question to both of you. Speedwing, did we get trailer on Wednesday? Yes or no?
I actually think no.
Wow.
I would love for there to be one, but I just can't see it topping
Axum,
Zelda, Metroid, Mario.
trailer?
I think we do. I think Nintendo's gonna try to capitalize on the IP here. If
Yeah.
I were them, I'd come out with every single big major IP for Switch 2.
I'm going to do the boring one and go 50-50. I think it's... I think,
You win either way. Very convenient.
All right, so Speedwing, no. Axum, yes. I'm kind of 50-50. So yeah, I'm always going to be right. Just the great thing to do. Anyway, guys, this was really enjoyable. I think there was like one donation that I missed, so I just want to read it out super fast. How quickly do unrefrigerated eggs spoil? And also, any new Fire Emblem remake or not, we'll just stick with engaged graphic. Also, expanded FE8 is the best way. I have no idea how long it takes for eggs to spoil in the fridge. I usually eat them before that happens, so I wouldn't know. They'll probably just do another 3D engine for the next Fire Emblem, honestly. I don't think we're going to get our Unicorn Overlord 2D sprite-based game. Just don't think so. As much as I would like that to be the case, I don't think they're going to go with that.
A remake might inspire them to do that.
Maybe. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me, guys. It's been a pleasure. Looking forward to doing this again.
I've enjoyed it.
Dude, I loved it. I think we should definitely do this again. It was a blast hanging out with you guys without all the pressure of having to like do a draft race, and just being able to talk, like actually chat about this is much better in my opinion.
I want to end off with this. A lot of people go like, how do I get to their channels? Just click their names. You see their names is in blue. I done this on purpose. So their channels are actually in the title of this video. Just click on them. It'll take you to their channels. So I'd like everyone to go and give them a sub right now. Let's see if we can get some extra subs. I think a lot of the people watching probably are subbed to you already, but there's probably a few of you. So go do that right now. I'd be really appreciative. We need to get some more Fire Emblem content creators
I'm
too.
10 away from 3K. I'm 10 away from 3K.
Oh,
well, there you go.
dude, can we get Axum? Can we get Axum to 3K in the stream? That'd be great. Please do.
And then like tomorrow, I was gonna do this anyway. I was actually gonna continue my Iron Man of 𝗪𝗁𝘁 776 tomorrow. We're in the Manster arc right now.
Awesome.
I haven't been doing a lot, but the 3K video, I'm also working on a Rebellion Saga video.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it.
Putting
Yeah.
out.
All right.
And,
Well, do let us know, Axum, if you hit 3K after this. That'd be wholesome. That'd be wholesome. So, anyway, guys, we're signing off. We'll see you again soon. Praying for Fire Emblem on Wednesday.
Yeah,
really praying for. It's gonna be exciting. I'm gonna be doing the direct with 𝗪𝗪𝘁. So looking forward to that. Good evening, guys, and have a great night.
Bye, everyone.